over and done with? Are Swindon going down?
Well, you can never say it's all over, but if you are realistic, I mean, we're relegated, really.
But if they win tonight, who knows? We'll hold out the lifeline anyway, Don. On the other side that day at Wembley, incidentally, Arsenal's centre-forward, a very young Bobby Gould, who scored to take it into extra time. What do you remember of it, Bob?
Running behind the goal and doing a gas scoring 25 years ago, but not making as much money as him.
Listen, you've heard what Don said about Swindon tonight. You've fought a number of relegation battles yourself at different clubs. Are they down?
You can never be down until the points accumulated make the difference. And therefore, Swindon have got all to play for. They can get a maximum 44, and we've been looking at the league table before, Richard, and I just think 45 is the switch-off point now. And that's what all the bottom managers and all those people travelling home on a team coach, the mood swings will change, won't they? Manchester City driving home nice and safe after 3 wins on a bounce. Coventry, great win at Ipswich. People travelling home will be thinking, super. Other managers will be thinking, where do we go from here? But they've got to dig results out, and that's what Swindon have got to do here tonight. They've got to go out in that wind, knowing what everybody else has done today, and dig a result.
Well, this is, of course, our third live game in 4 days, and we've had some great action over the Easter holiday so far.
Fox, who did so well here for Norwich in August. This is Lee. Newcastle got plenty in the centre. Beardsley missed it. Sellers took it. Cole! 50 up for Andy Cole. It's taken 3 minutes. Weatherall has gone off, so one less big man to worry about. Sernacek doesn't get there. Fairclough! 1-1. The player who scored against Newcastle at St James's Park has done it again here. May, Moore trying to steer it off and has done. Sherwood, and Shearer's free! And Alan Shearer scores for Blackburn Rovers. The challengers have taken the lead. Ripley. Shearer chasing it on, he's behind Pallistow, can't pull him down. There's the inevitable outcome. They're off the bench. Blackburn Rovers. Shearer strikes again.
Still takes your breath away, that finish, doesn't it? Well, that was in the main action from the top of the Premiership. We're concentrating on the bottom tonight. A little earlier today at the Dell, did they come any bigger than Southampton and Manchester City?
Southampton manager Alan Ball had warned his side, lose this game and we're buried. They went down to a last-minute goal which could well condemn them to First Division football next season. It was a match neither manager could afford to lose. Stefan Karl ensured it was a happy Easter for a relieved City boss Brian Horton. The striker on loan from Borussia Dortmund struck a minute from time. Steve McMahon delivered the perfect ball into the feet of Karl, who finished in deadly fashion to secure a priceless victory. Matthew Le Tissier was desperately unlucky not to salvage a point for Southampton in the final seconds. His curling free kick came back off the foot of the post. Alan Ball now faces a massive task to prevent the Saints slipping out of the Premiership. For Manchester City, they've now picked up maximum points from their holiday programme. This win moves them up to 17th in the table. Full-time Southampton 0, Manchester City 1.
Oh, what a win for Manchester City. More goals from the Premiership later in the programme. Other results from elsewhere today: Villa 0, Norwich City 0, Everton 0, Blackburn Rovers 3, 2 there for Mike Newell. Ipswich Town 0, Coventry City 2, Manchester United 3, Oldham 2, and they meet again in the semi-finals of the FA Cup this weekend. Newcastle 0, Chelsea 0, Queen's Park Rangers 0, Leeds United 4, 2 in that win for David White. Sheffield United 1, Arsenal 1, Southampton 0, Manchester City 1, we've seen. How about this one? In London, Tottenham 1, West Ham 4. 2 there for Trevor Morley. And Wimbledon 1, Liverpool 1. So after all of that, this is how the FA Carling Premiership looks now. Swindon still to play, of course. Swindon, Southampton and Sheffield United in the bottom 3. Then come Oldham with 37 from 35, Everton 37 from 37, Manchester City 39 from 37, and Spurs 39 from 36. What's the cut-off point, Bob, do you think, this year?
I'm going for 45, Richard. Looking at all those games there, I just think everybody will be aiming for 45. It was 47, now it's coming down a fraction. And there'll be a few managers and supporters watching that little red line and hoping their team are above it.
Well, Billy Bonds and Phil Neal will be resting a little easier tonight, but they're still not out of it yet then, so any 3 from the bottom 11 to go. At the top end, very much as you were for the top 2 who both won today. It's Norwich, Queen's Park Rangers, Villa, Sheffield Wednesday 8th. They can go 6th if they win tonight, but you'll match their best position in the season so far. Then it's Wimbledon, 7th now. Liverpool, Leeds, Arsenal, Newcastle, Blackburn Rovers, 76 from 36. Manchester United, 79 from 36, and 6 to go at the top. Are you a betting man, Don?
Sometimes, yeah.
If you had a fiver, where would your money be at the top there? Blackburn or Manchester United?
Man United.
On United?
They've got the points.
Without hesitation?
They've still got to be caught.
Yes. So they're in the driving seat from that point of view, aren't
Definitely,
they? What
yeah.
about you, Bob?
Well, do you know, amazingly, Richard, looking at all those results today, there's only one home victory, and that was Manchester United. And that was a big, big game for them today. Now they've got the cup game coming up at the weekend, so that one home victory in the Premier League so far has been vitally important for the Championship.
Well, it's at the bottom that we're concentrating tonight. We're with Swindon Town at the County Ground, who play Sheffield Wednesday, and they really have to win. It's as simple as that. If they don't, then I think we can say that Swindon are on the way down. When we come back, we'll check out the team news.
I'm Gabby Roslin, and this weekend you could watch 24 of Hollywood's biggest movies. It's your chance to sample all 3 of Sky's movie channels without even subscribing. Or you could always try something like this. Not. Whatever you're doing, don't miss Sky's billion-dollar movie preview weekend and your chance to enter Sky's Coaster to Coaster Across America competition. See your copy of Plus magazine for details.
Join Gabby and friends this weekend on Sky's movie channels.
Oh, look, do you mind moving up, please? My neck's killing me.
Oh, I do beg your pardon.
Thank you.
To cope with the most inhospitable conditions on the planet, you'll need one of these. Or one of these. Announcing the return of the Saab 900 Turbo. Call 0800 900 222.
Cadbury's Flake, the crumbliest, flakiest milk chocolate in the world.
Where I'm going, I can't be sure what they'll be having for breakfast, so I'm packing my own. I'll definitely be wanting brown fibre, no added sugar or salt, and 100% whole wheat. So it can only be shredded wheat.
Will you be needing anything else, love?
No, with this lot and a bit of luck, we'll be fine.
Shredded wheat and bite-sized too.
There is no better cereal.
I don't suppose I can change my mind, huh?
No, but you can change your burger to Burger King a burger.
Now change to a flame grilled bacon double chili burger at Burger King for only $1.29.
You got it.
Mountain-grown beans. Give Maxwell House its great mountain-grown taste.
Monday night football from the County Ground, Swindon tonight. The opposition, Sheffield Wednesday. who are hoping to go 6th. The head-to-head, this is the first top-flight meeting between the two here. 21 games down the years. Swindon have won 9, Sheffield Wednesday 8, 4 draws. Those 21 games, incidentally, have produced 69 goals. It's never been a 0-0. Here at the county ground, played 10. Swindon have won 8, Wednesday just the 1. Back in 1980, 1 draw. We've seen how relaxed and calm Swindon Town are, and they're the team under pressure tonight. They know they've got to win. This is Sheffield Wednesday. Trevor Francis on the right there, the manager. And this is very businesslike, isn't it? Very different mood in here. Andy Pearce, the big centre-half there. Sheffield Wednesday on the back of 2 very good wins. 8 goals scored in those 2. County ground Swindon tonight. It's Swindon against Sheffield Wednesday, and Nick Collins has the team news for us. Nick, good evening.
Richard, hello. Well, Swindon keep the side that battled to a point at Highbury against Arsenal on Saturday, so that means Nicky Hammond, the reserve keeper, continues in goal because first choice Fraser Digby is still suffering from a stomach ailment. As I say, otherwise Swindon unchanged, and there's certainly some experience in this Swindon side now. Brian Kilcline, Laurie Sanchez, 2 new signings, of course, and on the bench, Frank McAvenny. As for Sheffield Wednesday, well, they too are unchanged. No surprise there, really, because they beat Everton 5-1 in their last game. Trevor Francis said he wanted to keep an unchanged side, and his wish has been granted. John Sheridan took a knock against Everton and went off, but he's recovered and will play. The only change, in fact, is that Simon Coleman is one of the 2 substitutes instead of Phil King. Otherwise, Wednesday unchanged, and of course, Swindon, who've conceded 86 goals this season, they'll have to keep a very sharp eye out for Mark Bright. 2 on Saturday, 20 so far, and looking to add to that tally tonight.
Yes, 86 goals conceded. Middlesbrough conceded 75 last year. That was a previous record. Swindon Town then. Hammond, Whitbread, Kilcline, Taylor, Bodin, Nyholt, Moncur, Sanchez, Summerby, Fjortoft and Scott. And this is Sheffield Wednesday. Pressman, Nielsen, Pearce, Walker, Worthington, Williams, Palmer, Sheridan, Fitt, Jones, Bart Williams and Bright. We're in the company of Swindon's most famous player, that's Don Rogers, and Bobby Gould is with us tonight. Bob's fought a relegation tussle or 2 in his time and says quite simply Swindon have got to win here tonight. Let's just have a look at 1 or 2 from the Swindon team. Jan Fjortoft, first of all, who didn't score for, what, 22 games and then has hit 11 in 11, Don. If he'd been scoring a little earlier this season, Swindon might not now be in this position, eh?
Yeah, I think if he could have got going a little bit earlier, which, well, obviously, we all know that. But, I mean, strikers, it does happen like that. You go a long time without scoring a goal, then you can't miss.
What changed for him, do you think?
Confidence, probably. He's probably scored a silly goal somewhere, and from then on, he seems to hit the target every time he heads or shoots in.
And that's exactly what Swindon need him to keep on doing, isn't it?
They need that tonight, badly.
Just keep banging the goals in.
Yeah.
It happens like that, Bob, does it? A silly goal somewhere and all of a sudden they flow?
Perhaps it was a return ticket back to Norway that John Gorman was going to give him, because that was arranged, wasn't it? He'd all arranged to go back to Norway. He'd made arrangements to take his family back, his car back, and he was going back. And all of a sudden, that 1 goal and the mental side completely changed him. And he's 11 goals, 11 games, phenomenal. And he's looked a quality player, Richard.
Another quality player that a number of top clubs have been coveting, Nicky Summerby, the son of Mike, the former Manchester City winger. He's played at right back and also out on that wide right-hand side. I mean, he looks and runs like his dad, Don, doesn't he?
He does everything. The thing that's exactly like his dad is the way he crosses the ball. He doesn't loop it in, he knocks it in hard and it goes in. All you have to do is head the ball and it's in the net, because it goes in at such pace. And Mick Summerby used to do the same.
He said he won't go down with Swindon. If they go, he'll be off as well. It's not the sort of thing your teammates want to hear at this stage of the season, is it?
No, that's the thing. I think he shouldn't have said that. If he said it like that, it shouldn't have been said at this stage of the season, when we need all the points we can get.
But there's a typical example of the crossing you were talking about, as you say, ping them in.
It's how forwards like them. I mean, Bob would have loved them like that. All you do is just let them hit your head and it goes in the net.
Well, let's hear from the Swindon manager, John Gorman, who we saw smiling a little earlier. He's with Nick Collins.
Well, John, have we almost reached the point of no return as far as Swindon are concerned?
No, definitely not. Game's there tonight to be won, and we'll take it from there. Obviously, the results keep changing in the league, and there's a lot of teams under pressure, and we'll just keep going. Of course, it's very important that we have wins under our belts, and we've got 6 games to go, and you just take one at a time and try and win each one.
How encouraged have you been by the draws that you've got against the likes of Arsenal and Manchester United?
Well, you're very encouraged, Nick. You've got to be, especially the quality of the teams we've played in the recent weeks, and we've come through very well. Obviously, we would have liked more points in the bag, but we're pleased with it. We're pleased with the quality of football, and the good thing is we've got heart from it. And now we're going to a big game tonight. Our pitch is in great condition. It's a bit windy, but Sheffield Wednesday, are another very, very good football team. They've come off the back of 2 good wins, so it's going to be a great game.
You've got 6 games left. Realistically, how many of those do you think you need to win to survive?
Well, I think I've said it already, but I might be wrong, but I thought 5. But who knows? If we have to win 6, then obviously tonight's the only one that counts. Just whatever happens after tonight, you take it from there. But realistically, you look at 5 or 6.
So what you're basically saying is Swindon must win tonight?
Well, I think we've said that for that many weeks, to be honest. But and I think in football there's no must, because it's never over, is it? But at the same time, we'd like to win tonight. That's the aim. We're at home. We've had a good home record recently. We're against a good side. We know it's going to be a very difficult game, but it's a game that we can win.
Last thought, the teams around you at the bottom aren't doing you too many favours either, are they?
No, because they keep doing well. To be fair, they're Harry Bassett's team, Sheffield United, they keep plugging away. Joe Rowell's team was very unlucky today at Manchester United. I mean, I'm saying that on the scoreline. They came back well. They never give up. And Man City have now done themselves a big favour. And Brian Horton and David Moss will be well pleased tonight.
The county ground, Swindon, home of the Robins. That's obvious enough, isn't it? Bobby Gould and Don Rogers, the Robins' most famous player, is with us tonight. Don, what is the feeling in the town about John Gorman there?
Well, I think football fans can be very fickle, as we all know. But I think they've stuck by John really well. You know, I mean, you don't hear too many people running him down. I think he's tried his hardest with the things he's had available to use this season, and everybody's just hoping that, beyond hope, that we can sort of stay up. But they've been good to him, I think.
Well, so they should be, really, shouldn't they? The easy option for John last close season was to go with Glenn Hoddle to Chelsea, wasn't it? But he said, no, I'll stay here and make a go of it.
Yeah, he's chosen the hard thing to do, and he's stuck at it. I mean, he's as cheerful as anybody, which is, at this stage of the season, is marvellous.
As we've seen when we popped inside the dressing room a little earlier, there's a good mood, good spirit and atmosphere about the place. Although, as we said, Swindon are very much looking down the barrel. John Gorman doesn't think his team have to win tonight, but I think 1 or 2 other experts do. Swindon Town against Sheffield Wednesday. That's our live Monday night football. And next up, we'll check out the story so far.
I'm Duncan MacLeod, of the Clan MacLeod.
The challenge has begun.
You and me. Now. The last one will have the power of all the immortals whether them. You can't stay out of the game, Duncan.
And for the immortals, only one thing is certain.
There can be only one.
Highlander, the series, Sunday at 9, following Deep Space Nine, only on Sky One.
Delicious malty flakes. The Kellogg's Special K low-calorie breakfast. Get the taste. Get the shape. Stay special.
Ooh, I say, Mrs. I'll have some plum fun with this little lot. You've got a leek here, see? And a fish. Well, hey, round we we go, son. Ah, lovely, Julie.
Everything okay?
Oh, I'd love a cuppa.
Turn bath time into laugh time with Matchbox.
Once upon a time in the sewer, there were 4 cute little turtles.
Who suddenly went through this incredible mutation process to become the Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles.
And then there was this sweet rock musician.
Who goes out of control and mutates into Bebop.
And they all lived happily ever after.
No, they didn't.
No, they mutate.
This is Ronseal clear varnish. This is a wooden floor. And I'm stamping on it. Ronseal clear varnish made it tough because it's a tough clear varnish. Of course, Ronseal clear varnish also makes any wood beautiful. So if you want beautiful wood, use it. It does exactly what it says on the tin.
County Ground, Swindon. That's the venue for our live Monday night football this evening. Swindon Town against Sheffield Wednesday. Bookies fancy Jan Auger Fjortoft for the first goal. They wouldn't have done a couple of months back. 5-1 Fjortoft. So too is Bright of Sheffield Wednesday, who's got 20 so far this season. Bart Williams is 7-1. Scott 8-1, and Moncur 10-1. And this is the story of Swindon's topsy-turvy season. An historic day at Wembley last year. Swindon up in the playoffs. Glenn Hoddle masterminded the campaign but left soon afterwards. John Gorman took over. Swindon opened at Bramall Lane. Willie Falconer had put the Blades ahead, but quick thinking from John Moncur brought the equaliser. Carl Bradshaw and then Paul Rogers put an opening day win out of reach. Oldham were the first visitors to the county ground, but Paul Bernard's 89th minute header spoiled the party. And John Gorman's despair was obvious. Down but not bottom, and another home match followed.
It's a huge day in the history of Swindon Town. They've worked so hard to get the likes of Liverpool here.
But the day turned sour. Liverpool scored 5. Mike Marsh's goal was a beauty.
Marsh coming from the edge of the area. Marsh again. Oh, terrific goal.
Now they were bottom. 2 draws and 2 defeats followed, and then the entertainers came to town. Newcastle went 2 up before half-time, but the second half was different. Martin Ling pulled one back. And a minute later, Andy Much scored his first of the season to earn a draw. The celebrations were spectacular, and Swindon had gained a fan.
Probably everyone thinks Swindon don't deserve to be here, but I happen to think they're a super footballing side, and I think they're going to pose problems for other teams. They're not going to be the pushover everybody thinks, and especially down here.
They played 7 before winning. Queen's Park Rangers were the victims. Luke Nyholt was sent off for a second bookable offence. But Keith Scott's close-range effort gave Swindon their first Premiership win and a welcome boost to their confidence. A 2-2 draw at Anfield added to that confidence, and by the time they entertained Southampton at Christmas, things were at last looking up. Paul Bodin put them 1 up before Matt Letizier put his name on the score sheet. But once again, Keith Scott got the winner. They were still bottom, though. At Hillsborough, in the last game of an eventful year, they earned another point. Andy Much put them ahead. Mark Bright equalised for Wednesday. before Craig Maskell put Swindon back in front. But a scrappy goal denied Swindon of the lead, and also their goalkeeper. Fraser Digby had dislocated the shoulder in the aerial collision. Gordon Watson added another 3 minutes later to put Wednesday ahead for the first time. But 45 seconds into injury time, Craig Maskell's brilliant diving header gave them a deserved point. New Year brought the old boss to the county ground. Glenn Hoddle was in for a torrid time, but he came away smiling. Dennis Wise put Chelsea 3 up in the 89th minute. It was Hoddle's day. Later in the month, Swindon had back-to-back wins against Spurs and Coventry. Jan Fjortoft hitting a timely hat-trick against the Sky Blues. Brian Kilcline had been drafted in from Newcastle. A fortnight later, Norwich felt the force of Fjortoft's goal-scoring form. That made it 3-2. On-loan striker Frank McAvenny made his first appearance, but Swindon let another lead slip. Jeremy Goss made it 3-3. One draw and one defeat followed before a 7-1 drubbing at Newcastle. Another new recruit, Laurie Sanchez, made his debut against Manchester United, a match remembered more for Cantona's sending off than for the result.
Twisted out by Michael, but he's far as Whitford. Now Fjortoft! 2-2!
Last Saturday, they got a well-earned point at Highbury. Alan Smith opened the scoring for Arsenal. But this trip by Paul Davis on John Moncur led to a penalty, powerfully converted by Paul Bowden. John Gorman hasn't given up, but if Swindon don't win tonight, then they're almost down. And the bare statistics are played 36, won only 4, all of them here at the county ground, drawn 14, lost 18, 26 points, scored 41 and conceded 86. At home, played 18, won the 4, drawn 7, lost 7, 19 points, 23 scored, 35 conceded. Leading scorers, 19 for Scott, 15 of those at Wickham, 11 now for Fjortoft, 9, 8 it is for Much. The eyes are going, it's been a long weekend, 7 for Bowden. Average gate, it's good, just over 15,000. Crime count, 38 booked, 2 sent off. Last 3 league games, drew with Manchester United 2 apiece, lost to Blackburn 3-1, but also drew with Arsenal 1-1. I mean, it hasn't been bad form of late, Bobby, has it?
No, it's been very, very good form, Richard. It's just making the difference between those draws and the wins. They're so vital now. You drop 2 points, don't you? And especially when they went as long as they did November until they beat QPR, and that was a long time to go without winning at home.
He's brought a couple in recently, Sanchez and Brian Kilcline, to add a little bit of metal. Is that the difference, Don?
I think it's helped a lot, yeah. It seemed Kilcline at the back obviously helps a lot of people out. He's probably a good talker. I don't know him, but I would imagine he's a good talker. And he gets people doing their job. And Sanchez has obviously done it all with Wimbledon, and they've done well there, so, you know, probably 2 very good buys.
Let's just have a look at the remaining games for Swindon Town, including tonight at home Sheffield Wednesday, Wimbledon and Leeds, away from home Ipswich, Chelsea and Queen's Park Rangers. And John Gorman saying realistically you've got to win 5 out of the 6, Don. Against that sort of opposition, is that possible?
Well, I think the home ones are going to be the difficult ones. Wimbledon and Leeds at home after tonight are going to be very difficult. The away ones, I quite fancy them to do all right there, you know, but it's the home ones that are going to be the difficult ones.
After tonight, it's Ipswich Town next. And they're not out of trouble yet, beaten at home today by Coventry City, 41 points. I've heard Bobby Gould say 44, 45 points is the cut-off for safety. That's Swindon Town. Right, let's check out Sheffield Wednesday's season. They started at Anfield, where they paraded summer signing Des Walker. But with only 10 minutes of the new season gone, they were down to 10 men. Carlton Palmer was sent off. Still, the Owls managed to hold out until just before half-time.
Jones. Nicol with Clark. Clark again! Oh, yes! A marvellous goal by Nigel Clark.
A miserable opening day for Trevor Francis. 2-0 the final score. Only a week into the season and Wednesday added to their squad, Andy Sinton was signed from Queen's Park Rangers. They had to wait until their 5th game for their first goal, though. Mark Bright at last on target at Stamford Bridge. But Chelsea hit back through David Lee to leave the Owls still searching for their first win. Not the start that Trevor Francis wanted. Wednesday, second bottom at the end of August. That elusive first win did arrive against Southampton. Sinton was fouled in the box. John Sheridan scored. The points were secured 10 minutes from time. David Hurst heading his first and only goal of the season. The first Sheffield derby was fought out at Bramall Lane. United took the lead through Glyn Hodges after only 7 minutes. Wednesday was stunned, but equalised minutes later.
Right again. And Carlton Palmer evens it off.
12 games gone, but the Owls still only had 1 win. A visit to Portman Road brought a very welcome 3 points. Nigel Jemson put his side in front. And an emphatic win was wrapped up by Carlton Palmer. At the start of December, Wednesday were looking for revenge for that opening day defeat at Liverpool. Neil Ruddock's own goal put them ahead. Robbie Fowler equalised for the Reds, but Ruddock's partner, Mark Wright, also scored at the wrong end. Wednesday's 3rd league win in a row put them up to 12th in the table. 2 days after Christmas, they faced Liverpool's neighbours, Everton.
Here's Waddle. Pearce with the header and off the line, but back in. And Sheffield Wednesday have the lead with Mark Wright. Nielsen's cross, Southall's punch. Back in by Palmer. Oh, it's gone in as well. What an extraordinary goal from Carlton Palmer.
A fine win continuing a good December. In fact, a December good enough to win Trevor Francis the Manager of the Month award. He collected it at the 2nd Sheffield derby before settling down to see his side robbed to a comfortable win. Mark Wright gave Wednesday the lead. Andy Pearce added to it. And Gordon Watson put them 3 ahead in front of Hillsborough's biggest crowd of the season. And they repeated that scoreline in the following match at White Hart Lane. A win that included 2 from Bright this time. Wednesday was 6th now, their highest position of the season. Only 1 point came from their next 2 games, so they entertained Newcastle, knowing a win was needed to keep their faint European hopes alive. But Andy Pearce was sent off in the 88th minute, and Wednesday were beaten seconds later.
What will Newcastle do with the free kick? They get Beardsley, it's deflected, it's Fox, it's Cole! And there's Newcastle will feel the ultimate justice.
In their last league fixture, the Owls faced Everton. Ryan Jones scored early on. It was a performance inspired by Chris Bart-Williams. He got the second just before the break. More trickery from the Bart-man allowed Bright to wrap up the scoring. That was his 20th goal of the season. It's been a disappointing campaign for Trevor Francis. Last season promised so much but delivered nothing. After threatening in spells this time around, Wednesday have fallen away. Played 35, won 13, drawn 12, lost 10. 51 points, scored 63 and conceded 49. Away from home, they've played 17 and won 5, drawn 6, lost 6, scored 24 and conceded 27. Leading scorers 20 for Bright, 10 for Watson, 8 for Bart Williams, 19 booked and 2 sent off. And the last 3 league games, lost to Blackburn 2-1. We saw that live. Mike Newell settled that in the last minute. Beat Chelsea 3-1 and they beat Everton 5-1. So they're in some goal-scoring form. We've just been talking about Laurie Sanchez. He's out there with the rest of his Swindon teammates warming up. He, of course, scored the goal, Bobby, that won Wimbledon, the FA Cup, for you.
Yes,
Is this a good signing, in your opinion?
He always feels he never got the recognition for that goal, but he's moved away from Swindon in the twilight of his career now because he is pushing the years on. But he's a great professional, likes to talk in the dressing room, and he understands the game. He's got a good brain, but he might find it difficult changing so later in the season to be playing like midfield, used to Wimbledon.
Sorry to interrupt, can you see what he's saying?
What's that?
I won you the cup, Bob. I won you the cup. That's the message every time I see him. You're right, he doesn't think you gave him the credit for winning it.
No, but he's a wily old campaigner. And I'm sure he'll enjoy it tonight and he'll enjoy the challenge because he knows what it's like to be an underdog.
Well, another one that you signed and took to Coventry, wasn't it, from Notts County, Brian Kilcline, who also won the cup, had a smashing time at Newcastle, grown his hair even longer.
I wonder if he'd win the award in the parade ring for the best turned out hairlocks tonight. Kilcline was recommended to me by Larry Lloyd and paid £60,000 for him when I took him to Coventry. And he and Trevor Peake were just magnificent at the heart of the Coventry defence. Just recovering from an injury where he supposedly was going to be out for several weeks, but he's been in one of these oxygen cylinders and he's made a super recovery, and I think he's been a very, very good buy for John Gorman and the youngsters in the back line of the Swindon back four, because they have been taking a pasting when you look at 86 goals conceded over the season.
Well, we saw Chris Woods here this afternoon wandering around, just taking in the smell of the place. He was England's goalkeeper at the start of the season. He can't get in at Sheffield Wednesday now because of the form of this man, Kevin Pressman.
Yes, if you look at Sheffield Wednesday, they've been without Waddle, Sinton, Hurst, Sheridan, and then Woods came out of the side and this young man went in, and he's been a revelation, really. And I think he's been a bonus for Trevor Francis, and along with Chris Bart Williams of the last few games. Very, very good technician, goalkeeper. But the other aspect that goalkeepers have got in the game now, Richard, is the distribution from kicking off the ground and attacking the ball outside the area. And I think this young man's given Sheffield Wednesday a new dimension with that in the back four.
That's Kevin Pressman, the #1 goalkeeper at Hillsborough now. #1, you could argue, Chris Bart Williams, the Bart man, who's got 8 goals so far this season. They absolutely love him up at Hillsborough. And you can understand why, can't you?
Yes, interested in John Gorman's programme notes tonight that he acknowledges Chris Bart Williams because he was at Leyton Orient. Trevor Francis took a gamble, took the young man up there, and from the tender age of 17 has been an ad of the Sheffield Wednesday first team, but he can play. And he has this step over. Whether he's copied that from Chris Waddle, one wants to know, but he certainly has ability and he can certainly play.
Monday night football from the county ground, Swindon. Swindon Town against Sheffield Wednesday, who are looking to go 6th with a win. Swindon have got 6 left. They've got to win 5 out of the 6 to have a hope of staying up. Can they tonight?
Back on the road to international success under Terry Venables. But now they face their toughest test against world champions Germany. April 20th, it's a test against the best. England take on Germany, exclusively live on Sky One.
He's poised, anticipating, waiting. The faintest gap will open that chance, but what's he gonna do next? Oh, what a marvellous dummy!
If your house insurance is are starting to go through the roof. Why go on paying commission to brokers and building societies when you could buy direct from us and save money each year? Who are we? Here's a small clue. How much could you save? Around 20%, we reckon. To find out, simply pick up a phone and call Direct Line Insurance on 081 686 8877.
Excuse me, do you remember your first dime? Aye. The first dime bar you ever had. Do you remember it? Aye. Dime bar? Dime bar? Hello? Crisp butter almond covered in smooth milk chocolate, so snap-crackingly good. You never forget your first dime.
That bloke's a nutter. Oi, nutter!
Where I'm going, I can't be sure what they'll be having for breakfast, so I'm packing my own. I'll definitely be wanting brown fibre, no added sugar or salt, and 100% whole wheat. So it can only be shredded wheat.
Will you been eating anything else, love?
No, with this lot and a bit of luck, we'll be fine.
Shredded wheat and bite-sized too.
There is no better cereal.
From a manufacturer that's won 6 gold medals for the exterior and interior build quality of its cars, this is the Proton MPI, the only manufacturer to give you 6-year mechanical and bodywork warranties. Some models feature power steering, central locking and sunroofs, all as standard. From as little as £6,990, excluding delivery and number plates, for a limited period, the Proton MPI comes with up to £1,000 cashback. Proton, now even bigger value.
The future, where billion-dollar space stations orbit high above the Earth. Of course, you'd probably rather have a wrist-powered Macintosh for under 1,400 pounds plus VAT at 17.5%. Power Macintosh is here, and the future is better than you expected.
If you use petrol without detergent, this is what can happen to your engine. That's why Shell contains a patented detergent. Used regularly, it helps stop carbon buildup and gives much better performance.
Riding along in my automobile.
You can tell when it's Shell.
This is a doorstep challenge, not for this powder, but for a new mystery powder. Hello, hello. You've been trying a mystery powder, Tracy.
That's right, yeah.
Can we come inside and have a look at the results?
It brought the whites up whiter. Honestly, this vest, it came up white, which is unbelievable for Josh, and he tends to get everything more grey. I've always used ours, but I must admit this did bring it up brighter.
Would you like to know what this mystery powder is, Tracy?
New Des Ultra. Totally shocked. Oh, really? Honestly, I heard it was one of the more expensive powders.
New Des Ultra. More power for whiter whites, and still at the right price.
Monday Night Football from the county ground. Our live match tonight, Swindon Town against Sheffield Wednesday. And the bookies fancy Wednesday, but only just. 9-5 Swindon, 11-8 Sheffield Wednesday, 2-1 the draw. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's Supian. I suppose that's got something to do with the way he celebrates goals, and he's been doing a fair bit of that in recent weeks. 11 in 11 games. Now, Mark Scott's been out and about outside, asking about the plight of Swindon Town. Can they stay up? They've got the win, what, 5 out of 6? Is it possible? Here we go.
I think very disappointed at the way it's gone, but what can you do? They just, at the end of the day, we just weren't good enough to stay in the Premier League.
I was very disappointed, I would think, after Wembley last year promised so much. Biggest disappointment to a lot of people is that Glenn Hoddle went. A lot of people probably think it would all have been different if he'd still been here.
I think the manager's not made the best of signings in a lot of cases. We've been short in midfield all season, and we still are. And that's a void that hasn't been filled. We were too late in sorting out the defence, and from two people in charge that are basically defensive-minded when they were players, that's not good enough.
Well, it's been a disappointing season, but I don't think it's been totally unexpected. We always thought it was going to be a bit of a struggle, and maybe if I'm sure Tofty got off the mark a bit quicker, things might have been different.
If we do go down, then we'll start again. We've been in worse situations than this before. We were demoted a couple of years back, and we fought back then. We're a small club, we've got the heart, and I'm sure we'll be back in the Premier again, fighting with the likes of, the Uniteds. And next time, I think, with more experience, we'll stay up and give it a real good go.
Well, I think a little bit disappointed that they think there's, worse sides in this division than what we are. We've been playing good football, and as long as we can keep playing it and go down playing good football, we'll go next season. And we keep smiling.
No matter what happens, I think we'll still continue to support and we'll be there next season, whatever division we're in. Top or bottom, it doesn't matter. We love this club and, I'm proud of them.
That's more like it, and with the average gate close on, what's 15,500, that's terrific support, isn't it? Let's get a word from Don Rogers and where he thinks the points are going tonight. Where's your money, Don?
I think Swindon could very well win the game tonight. It's going to be, I would think everybody thinks it's going to be a high-scoring game, because I think Hillsborough was 3-3, and Swindon have got to win, so I say we're going to push forward, and Sheffield Wednesday play super football, and like to score goals. They look like they're going to score goals every time they play. So I think we could expect a good game tonight.
Fingers crossed for a goal feast. In a word, Bob, are we going to get one?
Only the players and the ball can answer that, Richard. You and I can't sat here. You've watched enough games of late, and it's down to the players, what they do when they get out there. If they want to get out and work and attack the ball, make sure they deliver quality crosses, like Don Rogers was saying earlier on, then both sides can score goals. They've both proven that.
Match commentators tonight, Ian Darke and Andy Gray. And Andy, we were talking Saturday about pressure at the top. This is where the real pressure is, isn't it?
Oh, you can bet your life, Richard. I mean, I was going to say I was fortunate enough to sample it at both ends. I was fortunate enough to sample it at the top. That isn't pressure. Believe me, these Swindon lads are playing under pressure. If you're a striker, you miss a chance, could cost your team a place in the Premiership. If you're a defender and you make a mistake, well, you're a villain, aren't you? It's not the kind of pressure to play under, believe me.
I was just thinking, Andy, Swindon Town, I mean, they're in intensive care, really, aren't they? The pulse is weak, isn't it? But they need 6 wins, I reckon, out of 6.
I would confidently say tonight, Ian, that unless Swindon win the game, then they'll be relegated. It's quite as simple as that. They need 6 wins out of 6, 42 points. If they draw tonight and win 5, 42 points. Quite simply isn't going to be good enough. So the task is simple for John Gorman and his team. 6 out of 6, or it's goodbye Premiership.
And the safety margin at the moment is 37, and it's out of the frying pan, really, and into the fire as far as Swindon Town are concerned tonight. They played the top 4 in their last 4 matches, and now a bang-in form Sheffield Wednesday, who've hit 8 in their last couple of games. Let's check on the 2 sides for you. First of all, Swindon Town, they still believe that the age of miracles has not passed. They keep the same side that forced a 1-1 draw at Arsenal on Saturday. Reserve keeper Nicky Hammond continues to deputise for Fraser Digby, who spent Easter in his sickbed. But Swindon need goals and hope for more from Norwegian striker Jan Åge Fjørtoft, who's hit 8 in the last 5 matches here at the county ground.
Yeah, but when you're in a team, Ian, that's conceded 86 league goals already, it's vital tonight that both Kilcline and Taylor keep Bright and Bart Williams as quiet as possible. If they get that part right, then perhaps they can go on. I expect an awful lot of play to come down this side here. With Nicky Summerby, the natural wide man here, any time they get the ball, I expect them to be firing it down here and to be testing Nigel Worthington whenever possible. This formation does leave them a little bit bare up this way, but I think what we'll find is Paul Bowden will be given access to just charge forward. Adrian Whitbread, I think, will be asked to just hold back a little bit. He doesn't need to go up there when they've got Summerby. They'll also ask John Moncur whenever they can to get across and shut off Roland Nielsen to stop him coming forward. I always thought they were a little bit light in midfield, Ian, at the earlier part of the season. It is noticeable. Luke Nyholt and Laurie Sanchez. Luke Nyholt, a centre-back from Motherwell, brought down and now playing in centre midfield along with Laurie Sanchez. And if you come from Wimbledon, the one thing we know about their players, they compete.
Yes, they're trying to add a wee bit more steel to their game, but is it too late? Well, about Sheffield Wednesday, they travelled south last night. They've really had a wretched run of injuries this season. David Hurst, Chris Waddle and Andy Sinton among those missing a game tonight. So this is the same side which thrashed Everton 5-1 at Hillsborough on Saturday. Irish international John Sheridan, who was subbed after an hour in that game, has been past fit. And there's another chance on the right of midfield for Mike Williams, an unfamiliar figure, I would think, to most viewers outside Sheffield, playing only his 4th Premiership game tonight.
Well, unfamiliar to me as well, Ian. But I think one of the reasons Williams is playing is they're just short of wide men. It's as simple as that. And Trevor's restricted in what he can do. One thing to look for when they have it at the back,
I expect him to be looking for Nielsen there as an out ball. I talked about the lack of width on the left of Swindon. Roland Nielsen, if he wants it, I would suspect, can get the ball quite easily there. It's important that Ryan Jones is working back that way to help Nigel Worthington, because he's going to have a problem with Summerby attacking him most of the night. In midfield, we know all about the duo of Palmer and Sheridan, both different players. Sheridan will look to come short towards his own players to pick up the ball and turn and spread it. Carlton Palmer, he won't look too much that way. Anytime if the ball's there, he'll be making long, raking runs all over the pitch, past the front two, looking to get in goal-scoring positions.
Sheffield Wednesday, who can go into the top 6 if they win tonight after this afternoon's results. This is the scene down in the tunnel. Referee Alan Gunn, in his last season, awaits the arrival of the two teams. Sean Taylor there, the Swindon skipper, by the way. His wife was expecting a baby a week ago. It still hasn't arrived, and I don't think the phone rang at 7:25.
Well, if it did, the manager wasn't going to tell him, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Go on.
Swindon must win this one if they're going to maintain their Premiership status, or even have a hope of doing it. So it's live tonight on Sky Sports. Struggling Swindon Town at home to a very much informed Sheffield Wednesday right after this break.
And this looks very promising. He's drifting in from the left. He's over the halfway line, inside one, outside another. He's going all the way. Oh, but what an interception!
How are you?
Hi,
How you doing?
looking for a new
car. Yeah, like my old car, but with a little more. You want them? But I am no Donald Trump, so I need economy. Like your old car, but more economy, but right? Nowadays, you have to consider the environment. Lower emissions, no problem. Right. Charlie! Charlie, he wants a new car, like his old car, only better. Better. Do you work out? Huh? Where you going? Did you see the game last night?
Successful in the States and now over here, Texaco's new Clean System 3 is the only fuel to clean not just valves and injectors, but through to the combustion chamber. It gets to work from the first tank full.
Like your old car, but better. Hey, what are you trying to pull here?
Just take her for a test drive. The full effect isn't immediate, but use it regularly and you could well feel you're in a different car.
I'll take it. In avocado.
New Clean System 3 from Texaco. Test drive it today.
Here's the answer to everything you want from a car. A car built with passion. Fiat presents the new Fiat Punto. Designed with more space, more safety, and more flair. Fiat Punto. The answer.
Savor the Johnny Smith's flavor. If you want to do a favor, if you love and adore one for me.
John Smith's draft now has a widget in the can for that just served by the landlord taste. And when you've got a widget, you don't need gimmicks.
This week in the Mirror, there's a beginner's guide to the Grand National.
And there's football.
Plus, win a Grand National horse for the day and you could be the winning owner.
And there's an FA Cup semi-final special.
And on Saturday, there's a superb 8-page Grand National pullout.
Tomorrow and all this week in the Daily Mirror.
Not only did Sky Sports deliver the knockout punch for the WBO title, but there's more still to come in the battle for a World Heavyweight crown. April 22nd, Evander Holyfield steps into the ring at Caesars Palace to defend his WBA and IBF world titles against Michael Moorer. Only Sky Sports brings you the next 2 World Heavyweight title fights live. April 22nd, Holyfield versus Moorer from the real heavyweight in sport, Sky Sports.
You're watching Sky Sports.
Match time on Sky Sports. Swindon Town versus Sheffield Wednesday. Exclusively live on Ford Monday Night Football.
And as usual, bang on time, we're ready. Swindon Town against Sheffield Wednesday with Andy Gray and Ian Dark.
Thank you very much indeed, Richard. Referee tonight, Alan Gunn. Among his important fixtures in the run-in of his career, Ipswich against Manchester United and Spurs against Queen's Park Rangers. It's his last season. The man from East Sussex, South Chailey to be exact. Sheffield Wednesday in their familiar blue and white stripes to get us underway. And Swindon Town starting the day 11 points adrift of the safety zone and with only 6 matches to play, including this one. So absolutely critical, as we keep stressing, for them to collect 3 points and only their 5th win of the season tonight. Here's the playmaker, John Moncur, up towards Keith Scott, the former Wycombe Wanderers striker. This is Carlton Palmer, in towards Sheridan. Luke Nijholt, the Dutchman who used to be with Motherwell, out to Summerby. He'll be an important player for Swindon tonight with his runs down the right-hand side and ability to get in telling crosses. That isn't one of them. This is Scott. And picked up by Williams, the newcomer to the Sheffield Wednesday side in recent matches. Mike Williams, discovered at non-league Maltby. Had a little loan spell at Halifax last year when he registered his first ever league goal, in fact his only league goal to date. Pressman locking this long towards Bright, but Kilcline wins it in the air. This is Bodin, and he was caught there late by Bright, and that looks quite a nasty knock for Paul Bodin. And the referee will want a word with Bright here.
Yeah, it looks like one of those that you see many strikers catch defenders with. Defenders committed to clearing the ball. See, he brings it down onto his left side, away it goes, and then the tackle comes late. And that is late, very late. Normally, those kind of things happen. People commit themselves to a tackle and you hit the sole of the attacker's foot. But I think Mark Bright was a little later than that there.
He escaped to caution.
They almost don't play with a right-back, Swindon. Adrian Whitbread, I've noticed already, he tucks himself in alongside Brian Kilcline. He doesn't really go wide there. I think they leave that right side totally to Nicky Summerby. When they don't have the ball, he gets back in there. When they do, he goes wide, and Whitbread just backs him up.
I think Kevin Morris, the physio of Swindon, is a little bit worried about Paul Bodin here. He's taking a very long look at him. They've got Kevin Horlock, a natural replacement for Bodin, on the bench. I think he's going to be all right.
In fact, what Sheffield Wednesday may have done, Ian, is drawn Ryan Jones infield to cope with Sanchez, Nijholt and Moncur. Because with just Sheridan and Palmer in there, there's a 3-against-2 situation. And that might just release Nicky Summerby to one-on-one situations against Nigel Worthington.
Which might be quite interesting. Summerby's been in some pretty good form indeed. Manchester City tried to sign him on deadline day. That's Bright knocking it on. Bodin, who seems to be all right, again up towards Scott, then Moncur to Fjørtoft. And this is Nijholt. Now here is Summerby. I think they'll try to feed him whenever they can. Whitbread's made an overlapping run. Summerby finds him. Crosses long towards Laurie Sanchez. Didn't quite dropped for Fjørtoft, and Sheridan to Carlton Palmer. But here's Summerby now. This is Moncur. He's had an outstanding season for Swindon, despite all their troubles. He's the man brought down there by Ryan Jones.
Yes, he's a talented player. He is a talented player, John Moncur. He's had a very good season. You talk to John Gorman about him, and he speaks glowingly about the lad. This might be an area where they can profit. They've got some height in this Swindon side now. They really have.
Moncur takes it up towards Kilcline, and Pressman grateful to grab hold of it.
And there you go. First free kick. And I hope they don't rue that, because I think this is a great chance. They can't get them all, and they were all over the place, but look at the amount of space Brian Kilcline has got there. He's just on the penalty spot, but that header didn't really test Kevin Pressman. Didn't quite get it as solid as he would have liked.
Summerby in possession again, trying to feed the informed Fjortoft. Des Walker, it seems, has been given the job of trying to shackle him tonight.
Well, I think he realised there, for Fjortoft, he was never going to outrun Des Walker, and he was half looking for a free kick.
Nielsen's good-looking ball in towards Williams, who's crowded out. This is Taylor. It'll be Wednesday's throw. Sheffield Wednesday with 3 goals against Chelsea, 5 against Everton in their last 2 games, but they were at home. Their away form hasn't been quite as clever.
No, but when you've been on a run that they'd been on, Ian, a victory anywhere is vital. And it'll be it's important for them that they've got back-to-back victories now. And with 8 goals, that is a sign of confidence in the side.
Nigel Worthington, who's had a lot of injury problems this season, to take the throw. Worthington again. Swindon not really getting it away, but it fell fortuitously enough to Scott, and then Bowden's long ball. Here's Des Walker, who's on a rehabilitation mission really this season after his problems at Sampdoria last year. John Sheridan, another of Sheffield Wednesday's long casualty list this season. Ruptured thigh muscle was the problem with him, and he missed 31 games. This is Kilcline. Jones heading it forward. One in the air by Taylor. And all the time Swindon will look to get it on the floor to Moncur to try to orchestrate things there. But a good run at home, Swindon. They haven't been beaten here since New Year's Day. Moncur. Play on, says the referee. And Palmer, in that Spider-Man way of his, brings it away. This is Roland Nielsen. Now Chris Bart-Williams, who's been in electric form of late. So all the Wednesday fans will tell you. Not a good clearance that by Summerby. It's only fallen to Worthington. Taylor won it well in the air. This is Moncur again. And a good long ball to pick out Scott, who pulled out wide.
Didn't get support quick enough, Ian. That was the only thing lacking there.
Bowden in towards Sanchez. Swindon, who stuck by their principles of trying to play football all the way through. Nijholt. And he's going to let fly as he did against Manchester United. And that really tested Pressman.
He's happy to have that go straight above him, Kevin Pressman. Lovely play from Luke Nijholt. As soon as he got it, there was only one thing in his mind. And that's a very positive thing to see from John Gorman's side. Looking to test the goalkeeper at every opportunity.
Well, Swindon are the side providing the threat so far. Pressman's had to make 2 sharp saves. And now there's a corner. Wednesday get it away, only as far as Moncur. Neat little turn, and that will be another corner.
Good play from Carlton Palmer, though. Moncur tried to outwit him, but Carlton was having none of it.
Nicky Summerby with the corner kick for Swindon Town. Not a good one.
That's 2 poor corners. One after the other there. One too much weight in it, and that one, well, the least said about it, the better.
Scott using his physical strength well, and Fjortoft is offside anyway. Wouldn't have counted.
But the run from Fjortoft had all the quality in it. Unfortunately, the ball from Scott had too much weight. Fjortoft about a yard offside.
It's Taylor. Looked to be a push by Palmer on Moncur. He's aghast that it wasn't given. Ryan Jones getting in well. And here's Carlton Palmer. This is problems for Swindon. And out comes Nicky Hammond to the rescue.
Goal kick that, I think. I think Carlton Palmer just got the leg in it there, but that's the trouble when you've got adventurous fullbacks like Paul Bowden. He does well getting back in and getting a foot to it. You can see Carlton Palmer just poked it for a goal kick. A linesman spot on there. When you have adventurous fullbacks, Ian, and Paul Bowden certainly is one of those. If it breaks down early in the move, then there are gaps in behind him where teams can exploit it.
It's Palmer again. Whitbread's long speculative ball finds Fjørtoft. His first touch just letting him down. Here's Sheridan. Roland Nilsson in his last season with Sheffield Wednesday before going home to Helsingborg in Sweden. Taylor's challenge, and then Kilkline to Fjørtoft. Nicely done by Swindon. Nyholt. And the communications breaking down there. Sheridan, Sheffield Wednesday glad to have him back in harness in the middle of the field. A lot of competition for places in that particular department in the Wednesday side.
Yeah, you miss a player of John Sheridan's quality. Good vision, comfortable on the ball, good passer, good range of passing.
And back in time, of course, for the Republic of Ireland's World Cup build-up, which you'll be very happy about. So will Jack Charlton.
Well, they sent Sean Taylor up and they've isolated him.
Bowden. Well, Swindon's big problem, as if they needed reminding this season, is 86 goals conceded, and that is 30 more than any other side in the Premiership, which underlines the depth of the problem. And if only they could have just tightened up at the back a bit more. Their goal-scoring record's been pretty good.
I think they've scored more than Aston Villa.
They have.
Which tells you quite a bit.
I think they're 13th in a list of goal scorers in the Premiership. This is Adrian Whitbread, who was signed from Leyton Orient last summer. Been playing right back more recently, although he's a centre-back really. So Nigel Worthington to take the throw for Sheffield Wednesday. Danger here, away by Taylor. It's back down again by Bright. This time Swindon do clear their lines. Slow start from Sheffield Wednesday, but they're the kind of side that once you let them slip into their gear, they are among the most menacing in the whole of the division. Again, a very, very slow start from them this season, which has cost them plenty. They were second to bottom early on. Referee says play on here, but no chance of keeping that in play. Now Des Walker, Terry Venables did pick him for the England squad against Denmark, but he wasn't even on the bench on the night, but he's back knocking on the door again.
He's settled, I think that's the thing. He took him away. Didn't play often at centre-back in Italy, and I think it took a little while to settle into his new surroundings.
Well, they kept playing him at left back, didn't they?
Yeah, he certainly looks back now. People talk about he'd lost a yard of pace, so when you're as quick as Des Walker, even if he had, which I don't think he has, lost a yard of pace, but they're still as quick as anything around.
Nicky Hammond knocking this long towards Sanchez, but it was Palmer that won it. Bart Williams is the first to get it down. Now Ryan Jones, the Welsh discovery in Sheffield Wednesday's midfield this season. This is Nielsen knocking it on. Last time we featured Sheffield Wednesday on our Monday Night Football, they had a 2-0 win at Everton over Christmas. Fjørtoft. Pressman's long ball towards Bright, who tried to knock it on for Bart Williams. The idea was there. Curious kind of season that Sheffield Wednesday have had, Andy, isn't it?
Oh, it's unbelievable. It's almost, it certainly started the way they did last year, and they could do nothing right at the beginning. Had a magnificent middle of the season, and of course it went all the way last year to 2 cup finals. Weren't quite able to sustain that this year after steadying the ship in mid-season. But I think, to be fair to Trevor Francis and Richie Barker, have had an incredible amount of injuries to key players, and very rarely had a settled side or the strongest 11 to put out.
Yes, it's been horrendous for them. That's onside still. Now there's a push in there. Wednesday have a free kick. Just going back to Wednesday's injuries, Chris Waddle, Trevor Francis says there is a hope he could return before the end of the season, just a hope. But David Hurst and Nigel Pearson, we won't be seeing any more of them. Andy Sinton comes out of plaster, stress fracture of the foot on Wednesday.
There's a few bobs off there then, isn't there? Alone.
Millions of pounds worth of talent in the casualty ward, so to speak.
In all fairness, that has allowed people like Chris Bart-Williams and Ryan Jones to blossom this year, and I think that's probably been a bonus.
Pierce with the header. This is Bodin. And Summerby. Kilcline offside there, as Moncur was very slow to get back.
But he went for the ball from Nicky Summerby. He was looking for somebody to play it down the line. That's something they've got to do. I think with just Fjørtoft and Scott as the main targets there, they need a runner from midfield. They certainly don't have natural runners in Sanchez and Nijholt there, Ian, so you'd expect Moncur to be the major one in getting in contact with the strikers.
Wednesday take it quickly. Nielsen with a good run. He's got the other side of Bodin, and Hammond having to make an acrobatic save. Took a deflection on the way through. The goalkeeper did extremely well. Now, Roland Nilsson hadn't scored for 16 months. He nearly did then.
Whether he would have been credited with it is another matter, Ian. But it was a smashing, instinctive save from Nicky Hammond. It really was.
This is Moncur up towards Sanchez, who's looking for support. He hadn't really arrived. He had to play it back to Bodin. Bodin marauding through. He's bundled over by Williams. Now, Paul Bodin scored the penalty at Wembley that took Swindon Town into the Premiership, and of course had that horrific business with Wales when it was his penalty miss that may well have cost them a place in the World Cup. Summerby looking to taunt Sheffield Wednesday's defence. Kilcline was up there. Nearly fell for Fjørtoft. We haven't seen a lot of him so far.
He tried to trick at the edge of the box. It would have been more profitable for him and his teammates, and he just helped it back into the danger area because Brian Kilcline was in there. They had plenty of height there.
Taylor in on Bright. Falls for Chris Bart-Williams. Now Nijholt. Nice bounce for Bart-Williams again. Sheridan. Bart-Williams once more. Palmer, Sheffield Wednesday knocking it around, but going nowhere fast at the moment.
That's the difference for me that John Gorman's got in his team now. They're now able to win the ball further up the field.
This is Bright, just allowed a little bit of space there. They can't allow him too much. He's been in great goal-scoring form this year. That'll be a Swindon Town throw. He's aimed towards Scott. Here's Fjørtoft. And he's managed to put that for a throw-in.
Well, when you've got 11 in 11 games, as he has at the moment, then don't be surprised to see him take on outrageous shots like that.
And that's been an amazing year for Fjørtoft. None in 22, and as you say, Andy, 11 in 11. This is Andy Pearce, and the flag is up there, and that'll be a Swindon ball.
It's a bit unfortunate back ball. I think linesman's given that for dangerous play, foot up.
Nijholt and Moncur looking to work the one-touch football, and Moncur emerges with it. Des Walker is there. This is 20-year-old Ryan Jones, back after ankle ligament damage recently. Sheridan, just about everyone you mentioned with Sheffield Wednesday seems to have had some sort of injury. Sheridan again playing deep just in front of his defenders and trying to orchestrate things from that area of the field. Bart Williams has stayed down. Well, he made 3 goals and scored 1, Chris Bart Williams, at the weekend against Everton. He was in really razor-sharp form, and Swindon Town will hope he isn't quite in that kind of mood tonight. Now, he's one of the nicest men around in football, John Gorman. If it was relegation and survival was decided on a popularity poll, well, Swindon would be bidding for the championship, I should think.
You know what they say in football, and you get nothing for being nice.
Yes, it's not known for its sentimentality at this time of year, is it? This is Sheridan out towards Nigel Worthington. No problems at all for Whitbread. No goals so far, but I should remind you at this point that Swindon haven't kept a clean sheet for 19 games and Sheffield Wednesday for 13.
Oh no, why do you say things like that?
There are gonna be goals, Andy.
Well, there have, because I pulled 0-0 in the sweep and I haven't won the sweep all season.
Sanchez. Fjørtoft. And then Summerby. This is Moncur, who must have been conservatively 10 yards offside.
At least, yes. But that's what he's got to do. I do feel that. I don't think they've got the pace in Scott and Fjørtoft to really trouble them. So the pace has got to come from somewhere else. And that looks like John Moncur, but he was very early there in time in his run.
Bright knocking it down. Here's Palmer. Under some pressure from Sanchez there in the middle of the pitch. Sheridan plays this one long. Bright had pulled away behind the central defenders, and Swindon there, just for a moment, the defenders were out of position and got away with it that time. Good run forward from Nijholt. He's won it as well. Pearce is there, though, the former Coventry City defender. Andy Pearce, who used to be a hod carrier, so he's come from the building sites to the Premiership. Pearce wins this one in the air. This is Mike Williams. Sanchez with the important little foot in. What can Swindon create here? Nothing, because Roland Nielsen's covering. Phil Klein up well. Williams heads it forward to Bright. Nice cushioned little volley back to Roland Nielsen. Easy cut out by Sanchez, but Scott isn't going to be able to catch that.
That's the area I was talking about, Roland Nielsen there. If Scott or Fjørtoft doesn't get back in there to work it, then Nielsen finds himself just facing Bowden. They can work a 2-against-1 with Williams at any time they want. It's hard work for the strikers, but they've got to do it. And they're looking for him again there, but this time Scott has got across. And that's the kind of job you have to do if you're playing up front in this type of formation. You know, it's not an extra, and people may think that's an extra, what Keith Scott did there, but it's not. It's part and parcel of the job tonight.
He was a bit of a cult figure at Wycombe Wanderers, Keith Scott. scored 20 goals as Wycombe Wanderers got out of the Vauxhall Conference and into the Football League last season. And £300,000 Swindon paid for him, which was 10 times what Wycombe bought him for. So it was good business for Martin O'Neill. Sanchez, it hit his hand, but accidentally. Swindon, who made a quite zestful start, but not able to create too much since the first 5 or 10 minutes or so, Andy.
No, it's been noticeable that the two people I thought would figure prominently, and that's Paul Bowden clearing the ball there, and Nicky Summerby. Well, they really haven't been able to get the ball to them at all. Certainly not in advanced areas.
Moncur back to Whitbread. Swindon giving the ball away in their own half, but nothing comes of it this time. They really have had a tough run of late Swindon Town fixture-wise. The 7-1 defeat at Newcastle. But they drew with Manchester United, they drew with Arsenal, and they put up a very respectable show as well at Blackburn before going down 3-1. And they had chances in that game that went begging, notably to Fjørtoft.
It's the last quartet you wanted to meet, wasn't it? We're struggling for points. Away at Newcastle, home to Manchester United, away to Blackburn, and away to Arsenal. Dear, dear, dear.
Somebody in the fixture computer room didn't like them. This is played long towards Bright, off Taylor's head, Bowden. Well, that was cool as you like.
I mean, he's headed it back there, and he left Williams behind, and he desperately wanted Nicky Hammond to throw it to him. And I think so did the crowd, because 1 or 2 shouting at him.
Hammond, who is the reserve goalkeeper to Fraser Digby, who's ill at the moment. He rang John Gorman up at 11 o'clock Friday night to say he couldn't play at Arsenal the next day. I'm sure he's watching this from home. And if you are, Fraser, hope you're getting better. This is Williams. Harmond made a forward run. Hammond gave Kilcline the shout. Swindon Town with just 26 points at the moment, with 6 to play. And they are 7 adrift even of Southampton, the next team up. The word on the street is that they are doomed, but they're not going to give it up, they say. They're going to attack and go for it in every game that they have left. Oh, Whitbread with a bad bit of control now. How costly is that going to be? This is Ryan Jones. Right there ahead of him. Neatly worked towards Williams. Sheridan and Worthington. Swindon Town may yet have to pay. The immediate danger's over. Bart Williams is robbed by Moncur. Now Scott looking to take on Des Walker, and pace-wise that is an unequal contest.
And Nicky Summerby will be happy that we've cleared that danger in, because after losing the ball then winning it back, I don't know what Nicky Summerby was thinking of doing, trying to run it out on the edge of 18-yard box. Sometimes you just have to put your foot through it, no matter how good a player you are.
Fjørtoft. He's found a way through. This is a hell of a run by Fjørtoft. Still not away either. Sanchez puts it back in there. Nielsen and then Bowden. And Fjørtoft stuck out a foot in hope, but didn't connect.
But a smashing run from Jan Arda Fjørtoft. Very determined here. Sticks it wide to Walker, digs it out the cross, and you can see Nielsen, who's struggling with the header, but they just don't have enough bodies in there when they really needed them there. But lovely skill from Fjørtoft.
First little alarm that Swindon have caused in a while, though. Sheridan with the instinctive ball for Roland Nielsen. Mike Williams wide on the right. And it's good defending by Bowden. Paul Bowden's been under some pressure from Kevin Horlock for his place all this season. Indeed, quite often Horlock's been the man preferred, but he's had an injury lately, and Bowden got the penalty that got the equaliser at Arsenal at the weekend and keeps his place here. Now, coming up on Sky Television, on Sky 1, the FA Cup semi-final between Chelsea and Luton Town. We're on the air at 4:30 from Wembley on Saturday. You won't want to miss that. And Monday Night Football, another key game in the Championship race. It's Blackburn at home to Aston Villa. Blackburn and Manchester United both winning today. This is Moncur to Sanchez. He's onside! And Pressman not really troubled.
Well, there you go. They put a runner in from midfield and they immediately get some joy. Sanchez finds a space. I'll tell you what, they had 3 attempts in goal, Ian, and every one of them, like that, has gone right down the keeper's throat. Nothing wrong with the strike. Hit it perfectly well.
I wonder if Laurie Sanchez had a bet on himself to score the first goal tonight. He quite often does. I don't know what the odds were. Now, it might have been his first to Swindon Town, that.
They've been fairly high, the odds, I would imagine.
Moncur here. Sanchez. And Swindon Town have certainly had the best chances. So far they've been denied by Pressman, but here's Sanchez playing this one in. Scott's attacking it. There's Walker. Gets it away.
They're taking things quickly, but they need to keep a pace to the game. They need to keep it bubbly for the fans.
Yes, the crowd had rather gone to sleep, hadn't they, before that Sanchez shot.
There wasn't an awful lot happening. They could see that, so they need to inject a bit of pace into the game. A bit of urgency.
Yes, I think the crowd need to have a reason to believe too, don't they? It's been a fantastic adventure for Swindon Town, but it does begin to look as though their first experience of the Premiership for the moment might be their last. Certainly if they can't pick up all 3 points tonight. This is Bowden. That's a good little chip for Fjørtoft. Moncur. Looks so elegant in possession, Moncur. Bowden. And offside.
He wanted it earlier, Ian, and he really should have had it earlier. Somebody made that long run right across the face of the defence, and Paul Bowden had looked up at least twice. You could see him making that run, but really didn't play the pass early enough.
Well, Alan Gunn here wants to have a word with somebody, presumably for something said. He's calling over Moncur.
Is it Carlton Palmer involved as well?
Too, yes. Well, I think that just must be, or presume, just a bit of back chat, wouldn't you think, Andy? Or...
I think they've had a little niggle at each other last couple of tackles. I think John Moncur feels Carlton Palmer's caught him a couple of times late. And perhaps he was just letting the referee know, but I think Alan Gunn just saying, listen, I make the decisions here, let's just get over it.
There's Trevor Francis, very wisely keeping warm. It might be April, it feels like January. Richie Barker there is number 2 beside him. They were down watching Queen's Park Rangers this afternoon, their next opponents, and they'd have seen QPR lose 4-0 at home to Leeds. The natives down at Loftus Road definitely not happy at the moment, one way and another. There was a pitch protest at half-time as well. Swindon 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0 here. This is Keith Scott. Walker brings it away well, plays the 1-2 with Palmer. Now Mike Williams to Nielsen. Nice football from Sheffield Wednesday. Sheridan, and blocked by Sanchez. Nielsen up towards Bright. Taylor read that well. Here's Nyholt. Carlton Palmer. It's Roland Nielsen again. Sheridan's found a bit of space. Worthington out wide. Sheffield Wednesday with a better balance down the left-hand side with Worthington and Jones back in the side. And Bart, oh, goodness me. Chris Bart-Williams let go with an absolute flyer. Skimmed off the bar.
Well, I thought Nicky Hammond had this comfortably in his sights, but he hits it with such venom. You see, it's above him, but he doesn't get anywhere near it. And I think it's the sheer pace in the shot that beats the goalkeeper. I think his hand goes up late, so he's not near it. Tell you what, 6 inches lower, Ian, I think that might have taken the net off.
It did more than skim the bar, it really gave it a crack. Chris Bart-Williams, the 19-year-old, who was a bit of a schoolboy prodigy and starting to come of age, perhaps, in the big league. Bright holding up the play well. Sheridan in towards Mike Williams. Wednesday just upping the gears a little. Been lifted by that. This is Bart-Williams again. Bowden with the foot in. That's a good challenge by the Welsh international. Now that was a tremendous effort from Chris Bart-Williams. Born in Sierra Leone, and I mentioned schoolboy prodigy. He was Orient's youngest ever player at 16.
Well, we can have a look at it again, Ian. And no one closes him down. You see how slow that Swindon were to push out and actually put pressure on the ball. And when you're playing with confidence, as Chris Bart-Williams is, that's the only invitation you need, to stride forward and have a shot at goal.
And Trevor Francis certainly has a very high opinion of him. He says we've asked a lot of him this season. His best position, centre midfield. He's had to play all over the midfield, and tonight, and a few other occasions as well, up front too.
He's a 19-year-old kid, and he's got 30 league games this season under his belt, and quite a few last year. I'm another one who thinks quite a lot of him as a footballer. I think he's got a lot of talent.
Now, there we are. That's a glowing reference from somebody who knows Andy Gray for Chris Bart-Williams. Now, Bowden to take it. To Fjørtoft. Pearce is there. Real old tussle between those two. Whitbread. Swindon fans trying to lift their side, but they'll need more accurate ball forward than that.
Sheffield Wednesday are doing quite well at the back. They're pushing out, Ian, as soon as they lose possession and the ball goes into the Swindon half. They're pushing out as a unit at the back four. And as I said, I don't think Fjørtoft and Scott have got the pace themselves to harm Sheffield Wednesday. So they have to get a runner in from somewhere, whether it's Summerby wide, whether it's Moncourt from the midfield.
Palmer playing this one in. This is right out to Worthington. And the long ball was aimed towards Mike Williams, but too long.
Such a dilemma, you know, for John Gorman. Oh no, he's here again. He must be mad.
All weathers.
He must be mad.
Mr. Tango.
It's frozen here tonight.
Sheffield Wednesday's Mr. Eccentric. But he's some fan, isn't he? We've even got some Italian fans here, I think, tonight. There's a sign behind one of the goals saying Italian Army, Forza Wednesday.
I was just saying before, it's a dilemma for John Gorman, whether he puts people forward, how many to throw forward. He doesn't want to lose a goal, but he doesn't want to be reckless and throw too many men forward. It's finding that balance, and they haven't just found it at the moment.
Again, Carlton Palmer getting a little talking to. Nobody's gone in the book yet. Nicky Summerby. Des Walker won that well. Bowden puts it back in again. And it may fall here for Scott, but Walker with an absolutely crucial interception.
Well, there was a little example of him up on his gears, really. I think Des half expected Kevin Pressman to come for that. You watch here, so it comes back in. It's a lovely ball back in because laid in by Bowden. I think he half expected the goalkeeper. He didn't come, and he was really rushed into a clearance. But he did it ever so well.
It was vintage Des Walker, really, that, wasn't it? A last-ditch challenge. Wearing the captain's armband these days as well, Des.
Played every game in the league for them this year as well, so
I think he's the only one that has as well. Mike Williams back to Roland Nielsen. This is Sheridan up to Worthington. Sheridan again looking to make all the plays for Wednesday. Ryan Jones. Sheridan. It's Worthington out to the other fullback Nielsen. Bart Williams looking to lay it off for Palmer, who'd made the run from midfield. The invention was there from Sheffield Wednesday, only the execution in the end that was lacking. Moncur looking for things to happen ahead of him. Wednesday pushing up, though, making it difficult. There's the offside to contend with all the time. The runs have to be timed exquisitely. Pierce wins that in the air. Williams picked that up. He took a bit of a knock, Mike Williams, there. He's just hobbling a little bit. It looks the kind of injury he might run off. Nicely chested down by Bright to Jones, and then Palmer going forward. Whitbread is across there and does well. And he gets a knock for his trouble as well, Adrian Whitbread. Carlton Palmer, there have been stories that he's unsettled these days at Sheffield Wednesday. And I think among those interested for quite a long time have been Aston Villa.
Well, I think it's a well-known fact that Ron Atkinson's long been an admirer of the talents of Carlton Palmer, since his West Brom days, in fact.
Yes, I don't think we're breaking any state secrets in the game there, are we? It's been fairly well publicised. Richie Barker just having a word or two tactically, maybe with Nigel Worthington, whether they're going to make any little amendments.
Or Richie Baker, as he was
in the programme tonight. There he is with Trevor Francis. Trevor will be hitting the big 4-0 in about 15 days' time. Actually played this season.
Now that's a blow for Swindon. It really is a blow.
Whitbread's going to have to come off here. Now Swindon will have to reorganise. It won't be Sheffield Wednesday. Now Kevin Horlock, who is a left-back or left-sided midfield player, very much left-sided. Now how will Swindon reorganise?
We'll have another look at this here, and this is where it happens. It seemed nothing here. You see Whitbread's determination to get in. There it goes, the tackle's in. I mean, even from that, it'll be interesting to see what has happened to him.
It looked like he just fell awkwardly on it, didn't it, really?
Yeah, I'm sure Nick Collins will get us a medical report as soon as possible in on that.
So on comes 21-year-old Kevin Horlock in place of Adrian Whitbread. And Swindon didn't really need that. Looks like Horlock's going to play in the middle of the field. Maybe somebody dropping back a bit. We'll see.
Now, Luke Nyholt's the defender, as I said, from Motherwell, a centre-back. And I think what they've done is they've put Nyholt back into Whitbread's position there. Somerville will stay as he is ahead. And then Horlock will come into the centre of midfield. Although it'll take some of the competitiveness away from the centre midfield, it might provide him with a bit more thrust going forward. And a bit more width on this near side, Ian, which has been, in all honesty, sadly lacking in the first half.
This is Nyholt, now playing, by the look of it, as conventional right-back. Nick Collins can tell us more on that injury.
Yes, Ian, there's a bit of concern in the tunnel, actually, because Adrian Whitbread's got knee ligament problems, so he could be out for a little while. They're certainly a little worried, to say the least.
Now, that's unfortunate for Swindon Town and for John Gorman, as if he didn't have enough problems. He's managed to smile through most of them. Pierce playing this one long towards Bart Williams.
We'll be glad to get in at half-time now. John Gorman, just to get his things organised. Just to make sure he can put in his players' minds exactly what's required of them now with that change.
So Horlock is on. Used to be with West Ham United, never really made the breakthrough there, but has made the breakthrough very much so this season with Swindon Town. Jones wins this one in the air. Ryan Jones in towards Worthington. Summerby tracking back. Scott flicks it on. Swindon Town will want to find a good deal more thrust in the second half. They've had their moments, notably early on here, but Sheffield Wednesday have, by and large, coped reasonably comfortably, Andy.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that statement, Ian. I think they've been very comfortable at the back. You would expect the home side to have one or two chances. The header from Kilcline, a couple of shots straight at the goalkeeper from long range. So all in all, they haven't really got themselves that close to the goalkeeper. Most of it has been from long range.
Bowden's long ball. Nilsson taking no chances with Horlock there, closing him down behind. Carlton Palmer. And dropped by Fjørtoft. Taylor's gone forward, the defender up to the far post there. Moncur really biting into the challenge. Won it back well. Bowden in towards Scott. Holds off Walker pretty well, Scott. Moncur. Here's Horlock. Takes a deflection off Williams to the safety of Kevin Pressman.
That's a pity. You haven't been in that situation very often where they've had time and space at the edge of the box like that to produce a cross. Perhaps Kevin Horlock just brought into the fray a little bit cold, because that wasn't a cross that he's capable of. Normally better than that.
Now Wednesday just making a mess of it in the middle third there. Pearce doing the chasing back. Sheffield Wednesday, by the way, have scored 63 goals this season, and only Manchester United and Newcastle can better that. And when you consider Swindon's goals against record, it's a very surprising half-time scoreline we have here of Swindon 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. Chris Bart-Williams, who hit the bar with that tremendous effort, and Laurie Sanchez, who was one of those to test Kevin Pressman. Half-time here, Swindon 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. The plot thickening at the bottom. Swindon have to win. Don't go away.
It's hats off to the Hatters.
Oaks. Yes!
And bravo to the Blues.
That'll do for Chelsea.
They well deserve their FA Cup semi-final at Wembley. In the year of the underdog, Luton are bursting with confidence, but the Cup has brought out the best in Chelsea. In association with Carlsberg, live Saturday at 4:30 on Sky 1.
He's poised, anticipating, waiting. The faintest gap will open that chance, but what's he going to do next? Oh, what a marvellous dummy!
Everything you need to survive in the financial jungle is in next week's Radio Times. You'll find a free investment guide to help you select the right national savings product, whatever your savings needs. For your copy, snap up the Radio Times or call free on 0500 500 000. The National Savings Investment Guide. Security has never been so interesting.
Where I'm going, I can't be sure what they'll be having for breakfast, so I'm packing my own. I'll definitely be wanting brown fibre, no added sugar or salt, and 100% whole wheat. So it can only be shredded wheat.
Will you been eating anything else, love?
No, with this lot and a bit of luck. We'll be fine.
Shredded wheat and bite-sized too.
There is no better cereal.
Bienvenue to the Club Hot, deep in the throbbing heart of Paris. A slick, chic haven where the dapper denizens of the city by the Seine come to unwind. For here, we find the globally renowned antidote to all roughness. Heineken Export, the strong silken lager that's smoother than a cashmere codpiece. Heineken Export, as recommended by your smooth-talking bar steward.
How do they know, huh? About the party? Are they psychic or what? Who? Spots. The timing's lousy. You can't let spots rule your life. Get tough. Oxycute 'em. Oxycute 'em?
Oxycute spots with Oxy 10. It really works. Ask your chemist for it.
Oxycute 'em.
The future. Where people may not be compatible, but your Macintosh will be. Our Macintosh is here, and the future is better than you expected. Call 100 and ask for a free phone Apple. Find out about a Macintosh that runs Windows and DOS software, and perhaps learn the secret of life itself.
This week in the Mirror, there's a beginner's guide to the Grand National.
And there's football.
Plus, win a Grand National horse for the day and you could be the winning owner.
And there's an FA Cup semi-final special.
And on Saturday, there's a superb 8-page Grand National pullout.
And the football!
Tomorrow and all this week in the Daily Mirror.
Into a world where convention rules comes a new challenger that dares to be different from the herd. The Probe. New from Ford.
It doesn't matter what the others say, 'cause you can go your own way.
The Probe. Go your own way.
And on a bitterly cold night, the Swindon strikers, I suppose we could call them, are working very hard. Brings back some happy memories, said Bobby Gould. We're at the county ground for Monday Night Football. Swindon Town 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0 at half-time. 5 shots from Swindon, 3 on target, 2 from Wednesday, both on target. Just the 2 corners so far. Better off it in terms of the possession for Wednesday. It's a little hope was that he would park on Saturday. Goalless at half-time, and the game exploded into life in the second half. We're with Bobby Gould and I suppose Swindon's most famous player, Don Rogers, who got a couple of goals in that League Cup final back in the 60s. Don, nice to see you both tonight. What about the game so far from Swindon's point of view, then?
I think they've got to try and get forward a lot more. I think that's a problem having. Sheffield Wednesday playing very square at the back and trying to catch Swindon offside, I think, most of the time. So it's up to the midfield players of Swindon to try and get through.
And when they have got forward, they've found a very difficult barrier in Kevin Pressman to beat, haven't they? Luke Nyholt early on. It's an absolute screamer. We've got used to seeing him strike the ball like this down the years. But Pressman's a difficult man to beat, isn't he?
Oh, he's having a superb season. I think as well it goes for goalkeepers like that as well. It either goes straight to you or they're going by you. And at the moment, I think Pressman's having that sort of season where it's going straight at him.
At the other end, Nicky Hammond had to be at his best when a shot from Roland Nielsen deflected wickedly. But he was on his toes as well, Bob, wasn't he?
Yeah, it's interesting to see Sheffield Wednesday's build-up here. Gets inside the box, holds off Bowden, gets the deflection, and it's, once again, as Don says, it's gone to his good hand, gone to his left hand, and he's just palmed it over the crossbar. Both goalkeepers left-handed tonight.
Let's have a look at this one. Laurie Sanchez got forward, as Don was saying, into a position when maybe he should have done better. Should he have taken this on, do you think?
I think when Laurie looks at the video, he'll be disappointed that he didn't. His first touch is super there, and he's just gone for the strike on target. And as Andy Gray said on commentary, it's gone straight down the throat of Kevin Pressman.
And then Chris Bart-Williams, whose bags of skill and an eye for goal as well in recent games, caught hold of this one, Don, didn't he?
Well, it's a tremendous shot, this one. It looked as if the goalkeeper was going to save it, but he's hit it that well. I'm not sure if he'd have got it, if it had gone under the bar, but it was a tremendous strike. He's done a Cantona really here, because he's dropped off the 3 central defenders, picked it up in space, has his set-up touch, and then he's just driven it magnificently. Gets his shape of his body right. Only going to do one thing with it once he's dropped off those 3 central defenders. And it beats Nicky Hammond, no doubt about that. Beats him there comfortably, top of the crossbar. They're relieved, those supporters behind the goal.
Are they a second-half team, Don, Swindon Town? Do they do better in the second 45?
I think they seem to, yeah. Let's hope so. We definitely need it. Need a goal this half.
Yes, we were saying at the start they've got to win 5 out of 6 remaining games. And the bottom's all getting very, very tight. Southampton losing at home to Manchester City today. Sheffield United getting another point, 7 out of 9. You reckon 44, 45 points will be enough, Bob, do you, for survival?
Yeah, and Swindon have got to win all the games, Richard, haven't they? The league table's changed quite dramatically today with the results that we've already had. And Swindon have got to be aware of that. Now, they've got to throw caution to the wind. They've got to throw the 2 centre-backs forward when they're having dead ball situations, Taylor and Kilcline, because they need those 3 points. If they can get within striking distance of Southampton, they've got another relief. And then if they can get in striking distance of Sheffield United when they play at Ipswich on Saturday, it's so, so vital. And we all know what Premier League football means to everybody.
It's all very tight down there. Will Swindon throw caution to the wind in this second half? They have to win tonight. The draw really isn't any good to them at all. Sheffield Wednesday, if they get the 3 points, they can go 6th. But it's Swindon who need the points more. Can they get them in the second 45?
If putting a plug on has proved to be a nightmare for you, then fear no more. These are to the rescue. Our 6-pack rotor plugs. You don't need any screws or a screwdriver. They're so simple, they're great. $14.99 for all 6. H10621 is our drill holster kit. $26.86, the recommended retail price, made from top-grade leather, and also you get the belt and the other attachments too for your screwdrivers. $16.99 is the QVC price. H10690, finally, is our Goblin Aqua Strip. If you've been putting off stripping the wallpaper from your walls because of the heartache and the aggro that it causes, don't worry, because this makes it...
Coco Chanel invented it back in the 20s. What do you reckon? She said fashion fades, only style remains.
Myself, you can do it yourself, because I'm the world's worst when it comes to DIY. In fact...
Philips CDI. From now on, television isn't just something you watch, it's something you do. Philips invents for you.
Body Perfect from Simon Eyes. Protects with a shine so brilliant, so deep, it's unreal. Other polishes just aren't. Simon Eyes Body Perfect.
Pringles, once you pop, you can't stop.
Flowers' original draft has a hoppy nose and a rich coloration exactly akin to the original.
I think he's saying it's just like it is down the pub.
Well, that's the sign up.
Yeah, the sign for
for Dad's neighbours to throw a street party.
They had that when you left.
Don't bicker. Moving house is painful enough.
Yeah, painful for Dad. He's been in the house so long, I hear you have to treat him for woodworm.
Yes, well, Abbey National's home movers deal will soften the blow a bit.
What's that when it's at home?
I'll tell you what it is, matey. Unlike some places, Abbey decided it might actually be quite nice to offer an incentive for staying with them when you move house. Now, shut up and hold this.
Yes, well, what it does mean is that we could move to that cottage near you. You could pop in whenever you like for coffee or dinner or anything. Your father'd like that, wouldn't you, dear?
Abbey National, the habit of a lifetime.
This is Carl Banks. His career has been plagued with injury after injury after injury. However, none of them were his. Carl Banks, linebacker, only wears pony.
It's a spinning, looping archer all the way! Must be! Oh, the keeper saved it!
Hi, I'm Gabby Roslin, and this weekend you could watch 24 of Hollywood's biggest movies. It's your chance to sample all 3 of Sky's movie channels without even subscribing. Or you could always try something like this. Not. Whatever you're doing, don't miss Sky's billion-dollar movie preview weekend and your chance to enter Sky's Coaster to Coaster Across America competition. See your copy of Plus magazine for details.
Join Gabby and friends this weekend on Sky's movie channels.
Oh, look, do you mind moving up, please? My neck's killing me.
Oh, I do beg your pardon.
Thank you.
The object of the exercise is to get on television. He's done it again. Wednesday's most famous fan, Mr. Tango, on a very, very cold night. Good luck to him. But I don't think it's a trend that's going to catch on. County ground very well populated again tonight as well, and for a team that's been struggling all season, they've had some good crowds here. Sheffield Wednesday 0, Swindon Town 0 right now. Don, what have Swindon got to do in this second half?
Definitely need to score a goal. That's the most important thing, obviously. No, I just think they're doing all right. I mean, it's quite an even game, really. It looks like, I said before the game, there'll be a lot of goals. I think it's going to be 1 goal that wins it now.
Ian Dark, tempting fate, told us that there's never been a 0-0. 69 goals scored in 21 games between these two teams in previous seasons. Bobby, we need some of that now, don't we?
Yeah, perhaps there's a few wingers on the park then, Richard, with all those games being played. We haven't got a real out-and-out winger, have we, out there tonight? You know, the boy Williams on the right side for Sheffield Wednesday and Jones on the left side for Sheffield Wednesday, perhaps not widen players in their own natural game. And on the Swindon side, you're asking Summerby and Bodin to do a hell of a lot getting up going to those channels to get crosses in. So for me, if anything's got to happen, we've got to have some good quality crosses, like Phil Thompson said, between Manchester United and Blackburn. Blackburn delivered the quality crosses, scored the goals.
Within 50 seconds of the restart, of course, Alan Shearer had got on the end of Sherwood's quality cross, hadn't he? Now, what can Swindon do about the scoreline here? Let's rejoin our match commentators, Andy Gray and Ian Dark.
Thanks very much indeed, Richard. Swindon with 1 point in their grasp as things stand. Of course, that's 2 less than they need from this fixture. Sheffield Wednesday back onto the pitch. By the way, Swindon Town's run-in, 3 away, 2 at home after this. Chelsea, Ipswich and Queen's Park Rangers away. Wimbledon and Leeds at home, Andy.
Well, whoever they're playing in, it's never going to be easy for them. I think that's a simple fact of the matter.
Swindon 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. You're watching this live on Sky Sports from the county ground. Swindon Town looking to hold on to their dream of keeping Premiership football alive in Wiltshire. It's long odds against as things stand.
I think the first thing that they've got to decide is what to do with Paul Bowden this half. He hardly got across the halfway line. in the first half, and that's not what I would have expected from him. I just think they've got to take a chance at some time in the match and release him forward. Because with Nyholt and Kilcline and Taylor, they've got 3 centre-backs that they can play across the back.
It's Kilcline getting it away, and then Bowden forward, up towards Big Keith Scott. And Walker just running into a bit of trouble in the shape of Fjørtoft here. Fjørtoft trying to find Moncur, and Worthington grateful to just belt it away. And Laurie Sanchez back to Bowden again. Sanchez back in with an almost Wimbledon-style ball, if they'll forgive me for using that phrase. And it's produced a corner kick here.
Well, it's the type of pressure they would have wanted to exert in the opening minute. It's whether they can make something happen from it.
Brian Kilcline has come forward looking for his first goal in 2.5 seasons. Already had 1 header on target. What can Swindon produce this time? Bowden's corner. Up goes Scott for it. Bright gets it away. Only to Horlock. Nyholt, the one man who'd stayed back. Freak deflection. Forced to Kilcline. And a shot just past the post.
Well, I don't know what Mark Bright was thinking about, because this ball from Nyholt should have just been allowed to go through to the goalkeeper. He headed it off his own player. They didn't close down Brian Kilcline quickly enough. No one goes near him. Shuffles it onto his left foot. And he almost scuffs it into the corner.
Did Pressman have it covered?
Oh, I wouldn't like to say.
He thinks he did, I'll bet. Laid off by Bart Williams. Jones plays it forward. Mike Williams had made a run. Hammond there was under a bit of pressure. Did well enough in the end. Nielsen. Sheffield Wednesday players arriving there. Bright was free on the far post. Kilcline gets it away. And there'll be a corner kick. Well, £90,000 they paid for him from Newcastle United to add a bit of experience and steel to that defence. He was almost on the target at the other end. Corner comes across it, the nod on at the near post. Back to Mike Williams. Goodness me. Well, he nearly got his first ever Premiership goal there.
Well, Bart Williams hit a screamer in the first half. And then Mike Williams shows he's not got to be outdone. It arrived at him, he didn't even take a step back, he didn't take a step forward. He just planted his left foot, hit the volley. It was always going a little bit wide, but it was a lot closer than Nicky Hammond wanted it to be.
Well, close things at both ends, right at the start of the second half. Fjørtoft. Well, he went for it and scored from that kind of range against Blackburn Rovers after only 4 minutes at Ewood Park. That gave Kenny Dalglish and his players a bit of a shock before Blackburn came back to win 3-1. Got it down towards Ryan Jones here. And they're looking for the penalty kick. Alan Gunn is having none of it. Mark Williams was the man who went down. Alan Gunn's decision was absolutely instant. No penalty. This is Sheridan. Considered and cultured look about just about everything Sheridan does. Miss Taylor reaching out well. Sanchez completes the clearance. Fjørtoft a lone figure for the moment. This is Moncur. Good idea to try and find Summerby, but Worthington was back covering. Pressman under some pressure. This is Bowden, who we tried to get Scott away, but intercepted by Williams. Positive start to the second half here from Sheffield Wednesday. Nielsen. Carlton Palmer is the man wide. Up goes Ryan Jones, and it's gone for the corner kick off Nyholt.
We can have a look at that instantly. Chris Bart-Williams. I'm not so sure there wasn't a leg hung out here and as he went through. There it goes there. Paul Bowden, he goes down. It's perhaps late. It looks there as the contact was made. Chris Bart-Williams felt it and decided, I'm going over here. But the referee was in a good position to give a decision.
As Luke Nyholt receives treatment, Nick Collins has some news for us.
Thanks, Ian. Well, John Gorman was pretty encouraged by Swindon's performance in the first half. He's hoping that they'll be able to take advantage of the wind being in their favour in this second half. And he'll be looking to see Nicky Summerby getting a lot more involved and getting a lot further forward.
Sheffield Wednesday's corner is taken short. Sheridan, it was intended for. This is Bart-Williams, back to Worthington. Summerby with a chance to run. Moncur has pulled wide to the left. This is he. Still Moncur on that left foot of his. And that was a good penetrative looking break from Swindon Town. Summerby was the man who set it all up. Now it's Swindon who have the corner kick. Once again, the defenders have come forward. Kilcline and Taylor. Bowden's corner. Kilcline was there again, and it hit a Sheffield Wednesday leg and bounced away, but Kilcline proving quite a threat in the opposition's penalty area tonight. This is Horlock. Not a good ball. That's in Williams. Summerby now turning up in the centre-back spot. Just beginning to take a more roving role, Summerby. And offside.
Well, this is a lovely teasing ball in. It's got plenty of height on it. So it's saying to your centre-backs, go and attack it. In fact, it wasn't really Kilcline that got the head. I think it came off Mark Bright's shoulder. But it was tempting Kilcline and Taylor to go in after it.
Nielsen to Sheridan in this anchor role in the midfield. And for once, his usually immaculate passing not quite on target. This is Fjørtoft, the big Norwegian. Of course, Egil Olsen, the Norwegian coach, has been on a little mission to England recently, as we saw at Bramall Lane last week, just checking the form of his Norwegian-based players with the World Cup in mind. Fjørtoft was worried about his place. He can't be now, I wouldn't think. Mike Williams. Carlton Palmer. Brighton Jones in the middle. Williams gets the cross in. Now here's Summerby with room to run down the right-hand side. Moncur. From a very long way out. Well, he struck it very, very well. Must have been, what, 40 yards?
In answer to your last question, did the goalkeeper have Kilcline's shot covered? I didn't know, but I think Pressman certainly had that one covered. You see he's over, he pulls his hands away to make sure he didn't get any contact on the ball. He was confident it was going wide, Kevin Pressman, and he's proved right. But that's what they need more of.
Jones tries to spread this one. Wednesday retain possession. Sheridan wide to the Swede, Roland Nilsson. It's towards Bart-Williams, and in the end, Brighton Bart-Williams rather left it to each other. And just swapped a little remark about it as the play continued. Nyholt. This is one for Scott to chase. It hits him unknowingly on the back. I think Sheffield Wednesday may be preparing a substitution quite soon. This is Bowden getting forward down the left-hand side. Good-looking ball in, but Andy Pearce is there for Wednesday.
That's the first time, Ian, that Paul Bowden's got anywhere near that far up the pitch. And that's what I would have expected from him tonight of all nights, when a win is of paramount importance, really. Just nothing else will do, but Gordon Watson looks like he's going to be brought into things.
Now, Gordon Watson scored twice when these two sides drew 3-3 at Hillsborough earlier on in the season. Michael Williams is the man who's come on. Gordon Watson, who scored on his 23rd birthday the last time Wednesday were on Sky, up against Blackburn Rovers. So he's a striker with an eye for goal. He's second top goal scorer for Wednesday this season at 10, Gordon Watson. Here goes Fjørtoft. Oh, and Sanchez missed his kick in front of goal. Summerby. Nijholt sweeping it in. Watson it was who got the touch on it. Not a very decisive one, though. Here's Kilcline. Swindon, desperate to score a goal that would keep their survival hopes, in theory, alive. Moncur. And Pearce getting it away with that mop of blonde hair of his.
You see the difference. You can hear the difference in the crowd, Ian, when they put a bit of pressure on. When they put some urgency and pace into the play.
Well, these Swindon fans are hoping so hard that their side can get the breakthrough here. Bottom of the table all season long. This is Nijholt. Sheridan was the man who cut it out. Horlock feeds it wide to Bowden. Fjørtoft loses his footing. It doesn't reach Scott because Walker was there. And that's a foul by Luke Nijholt on the substitute Gordon Watson. There's Sheridan. Nelson finding a bit of space down that right-hand side. Taylor's challenge is penalised. Wednesday looking here to chalk up what would be a third successive victory. I've been enjoying Easter so far. Taylor was up very well indeed there. Now here's Moncur. Fjørtoft one-on-one with Walker. And Fjørtoft losing his footing. Taylor gets Moncur in behind Wednesday's defence on that left-hand side. Scott's in the middle, other men arriving. Fjørtoft and Summerby. This is Bowden. Moncur again. Bowden's cross. Walker gets it away, but only here to Nicky Summerby. Up goes Scott. Again, Walker getting the header away, but Swindon just beginning to turn up the gas a little. Sanchez in this time.
Well, I don't know if he got a nudge, Keith Scott, there, but certainly when the cross was on its way and it looked a good opportunity to put a header on target. I don't know whether Andy Pearce just nudged him in the back. And it comes, and I thought, he's going to go up and get a free header. He did get a free header. He couldn't direct it.
It's Gordon Watson for Sheffield Wednesday. Well, he's sharp around goal this season.
Well, this is going to happen, you feel more and more, as Swindon are asked to push men forward, and perhaps one or two gaps that their defence may start to appear to benefit Sheffield Wednesday.
Watson's 10 goals I was telling you about have come from only 15 starts. Now here's Fjørtoft and Walker again with another pacey piece of defending and a vital interception. Sheffield Wednesday more than once have been indebted to Des Walker's pace at the back and his ability to come back and save what looked lost causes.
Well, I would think any other defender in this position, and Fjørtoft's getting a shot at goal. He lets it come past him. Fjørtoft thinks he's in, but he wasn't to be. Walker was able to inject an extra piece of pace into his running and get that leg over and get it clear. Wonderful defending.
showing why he's Britain's joint most expensive defender with Darren Peacock, recently signed by Newcastle. £2.7 million apiece.
This is better from Swindon's second half. They're asking more questions. Well,
that isn't one of them, is it?
But they're getting the ball more in that last third. They've been more in the 18-yard box. Sheffield Wednesday 18-yard box already in this half than they were probably in the whole of the first half.
It's a better second half. Swindon still awaiting that goal, and Wednesday threatening on the break themselves. Not this time, though. Swindon, who've had their moments this season, apart from the 3-3 draw they got at Hillsborough back over Christmas. They've drawn with Manchester United, Liverpool and Arsenal during the campaign. But there have been one or two thrashings in there as well, if we're honest. Now Moncur gets goal side of Pearce. And Roland Nilsson, with some excellent covering, retrieves the situation.
That's twice John Moncur's got beyond the back four already in this second half. And just a little bit lack of concentration, just miscontrolled it at a very important time. Because I thought he was ahead of Pearce then. And had he nudged it in front of him, and he felt sure he was in.
Here's Sheridan. Carlton Palmer it's aimed for, who wins it. Wright was in there challenging Hammond, and the goalkeeper was being pushed.
Well, he had to be brave here, because Mark Bright was certainly going in on this. He wasn't pulling back, he never does, and you see his foot's a bit high.
Again, they've got on the goal side of the Wednesday defence, it's squared, and nobody there to take advantage. Time and again, down that left-hand side, Swindon are producing balls that get in behind the Sheffield Wednesday defenders, and that must be a cause of some alarm for Trevor Francis and Richie Barker. And here comes Swindon again. Moncur, can they make one of these pay? Fjørtoft attacking, Walker across to get it away. But Swindon, you feel, are edging nearer.
The biggest single difference in this half has been John Moncur, and the trouble he's caused running forward. Said in the first half, I didn't think they did enough of that from midfield. He seemed to be the most natural one to do it. And already, what, 3 or 4 times this second half, he's got himself forward in really promising positions. Des Walker has had to be at his best, and he has.
He's having an outstanding game back there, Des Walker. Sheffield Wednesday have needed him to, as this has gone on. This is Pearce. Sheridan with the instant control. Nyholt making sure that Jones saw no more of that. Premiership debut past his 30th birthday for Luke Nyholt this season. Sheridan nicely measured into the path of Bright. It's going to fall for him here. The goal is free if Bright can find a shot. And he can't. He was shepherded out of harm's way by Taylor, who did some very good work there because the goal was open and gaping. It still could fall for Watson. And Hammond grabs hold of it at the second, or was it third attempt?
Well, he did well that time. They were just thinking they'll be buying Sean Taylor a pint, you know, tonight after this game. Because he comes out here and he really should just be getting anywhere. I don't know what he tried to do, whether the bounce beat him in, but now it's all about Sean Taylor. Can he get his body between Bright and the goal? And he did that wonderfully well. But from there, he had to be brave and he had to be positive here, because this looks a real chance. And out he comes. He's got to throw himself at it. He gets his body in there, a little bit of help from Nyholt, but that's when you need your luck. When you're brave like that, I sometimes think a goalkeeper deserves a bit of luck.
Well, the last time I was here, John Gorman had to use a substitute goalkeeper, who in fact was Hammond himself. That was against Norwich in a 3-3 draw, and it looks like it's going to happen again here. On that occasion, it was John Sheffield, the on-loan goalkeeper,
He doesn't want to go off. I think this might be a bit premature, Ian, because you certainly won't want to lose a goalkeeper. They want to use Frank McAvenny later on if necessary, because they need to get a goal. And certainly by the looks of that, Nicky Hammond doesn't want to go off. But, you know, this is when goalkeepers are paid to be brave. The striker and defender are coming back in. All three have got to go for it. All three have got to try and make it theirs.
I'm not sure he didn't take a boot in the face there somewhere.
Well, I think he did. The back of the ear, it looks like. But
yeah.
I mean, there might be some stitches. That might be the problem, Ian, is whether they can get him off, get it stitched up if necessary, or whether they've just got to say right away, no, they can't take that chance.
It looks like he's going off, doesn't it? In which case Paul Held will come on. It's a nasty injury just behind the ear. Now, the goalkeeper, who's on loan from Leyton Orient, which was where John Gorman used to be the youth team coach, is introduced into the action here. He was at Crystal Palace on loan last year, and I think he was with Bobby Gold at Coventry on loan a couple of seasons ago too. So this is quite a moment for him.
But how do you feel? I mean, John's seen in the last 10 days some of the relegation rivals get lucky in games and get results maybe they shouldn't have done, and maybe they didn't deserve, and scratched it here and there, and he was probably keeping Frank McAvenny up his sleeve, hoping that if it was still 0-0 going into the last 15 minutes he could have unleashed him, and perhaps the Scot would have got him a goal. But now that's been taken away from him in an unfortunate accident.
It never rains, does it, when you're at the bottom? Sheridan gets this back. Pressman fires it away into touch. Still Swindon 0, Sheffield Wednesday 0. But a game here that you feel is growing in drama. Nyholt, deflection off Alan Gunn. That was a nice first touch from him, certainly as far as Wednesday were concerned. But here's Moncur, Fjørtoft ahead of him, doesn't get the pass. Moncur towards Keith Scott, and Fjørtoft! And, oh, inches in it. And he's got a knock as well.
I think he should score here. I know Andy Pearce gets his head very close to him, but I think in a situation like this, and he gets a knock, you've got to hit the target. You just must make the goalkeeper save. It's a wonderful knockback from right in the first place, but from then, Fjørtoft has really got it, put it between the sticks.
Well, Fjørtoft there was so close to 12 in 12 games, and as it is, it looks like he might need a dental appointment in the morning. It's not a very good swap, really.
Nah, it'd have been all right if he'd hit the target, and that's what I'm saying. It would have been a bit better. I'd have been going to the dentist with a goal down under his belt.
No shortage of chances in this second half. None of them as yet taken.
Again, though, that one was instigated by John Moncur getting forward and causing problems, putting a really testing cross in.
This is Worthington, up towards Bright, and surely this time, and in the end it was Watson who puts it over the line, and, well, one moment Swindon Town were within inches of the lead, and now they're behind, and how isn't life so cruel to them down at the bottom?
The goalkeeper quite simply goes into no man's land. I feel a little bit for him, you must do. He's only just on, he's had one bit of action, that was to make a clearance. He made a hash of the clearance, and from that throw-in, he launched the cross in, he got caught in no man's land, and that's a simple tap-in for Gordon Watson.
He had to win it too because it wasn't going in from Bright, and that's the third time Watson has scored against Swindon this season. Well, this may be Swindon Town's darkest hour, because if they lose this one, I think realistically, if not mathematically, you'd have to say it was curtains. Summerby takes the corner kick. Kilcline. The back header was from Sanchez. Kilcline's shot was blocked by, was it Bart Williams, I think it was, back there. A very decent volley indeed from Kilcline. It just won't go in for Swindon.
Well, there was nothing for him to hit, was there? Bodies, arms and legs everywhere.
Long this time from Summerby. It was Taylor that nodded it down, and Moncur onto the terraces. Well, problems mount for John Gorman.
Here we can see Kilcline's shot as it comes back to him here. I think Pressman, he gets a fist tip, but then as he hits it, he gets back. And give the goalkeeper credit, he was able to get another position and get a good block on the volley.
This is a very good save by Pressman. Scott. Away by Pearce. Sheffield Wednesday nosing in front here, having survived quite a few scrapes in their own penalty area. Jones was the one marauding forward. Bright up towards Palmer. Bart Williams. It was in towards Bright again. He didn't get the nod on it. Kilcline did and had to. And bowed in away. Fjørtoft. This is Moncur. Sanchez lets it run, but only to a Wednesday player. Jones's ball was a delicious one for Watson. And he's going to try his luck.
Well, he must have showed him enough, Sean Taylor. Because normally you would expect the defender to get between the ball and the goal, but Taylor obviously, he's just shown him enough there. Shown him enough to encourage him to hit that.
Gordon Watson, it's been a tough job finding his way into the Sheffield Wednesday side. And he's rewarded Trevor Francis with plenty of goals when he has been included this year. Wilson wide for Bart Williams, who's playing out there now with Williams off the pitch, Mike Williams that is. Palmer. Challenge from behind was by Nyhold. It was a good one too. Now, this is Moncur again, who's done more than anybody to try to get Swindon motoring. Here he is again. Pearce got there first, but now it's Summerby. Tries to measure his cross. Again, Pearce gets it away. This is Horlock playing in the unfamiliar right-hand side for the moment there. Fjørtoft. Walker for company. Corner.
Well, they need something to happen very quickly. They really do.
.17 minutes remaining. Summerby long. And it's gone for the goal kick. Now then, what about the goal again, Andy?
Well, I don't wonder whether John Gorman thought there was any suggestion of offside here. We can see there, no. Nothing at all, because Watson just makes sure he does what every striker should do. And he didn't give it up. There's no doubt Mark Bright, I thought, was going for goal here. He knows the goalkeeper's come out. He's trying to knock it over him. But look where Kilcline and Nyhold are fatally paused Ian. Watson didn't. And he got his reward.
Great hang in the air, wasn't it, by Mark Bright as well? Revealed by the super slow-mo.
It was a lovely cross from Worthington, to be fair. To talk about the quality of crossing being so important, that was a lovely cross. Tempted the goalkeeper, newly on, to come out. Totally stranded.
Wednesday looking to pose some more threat here. Oh, that's nicely done. Here's Bart Williams cutting it back. And Sanchez having to concede the corner.
Didn't pull it back far enough, Ian. Very quick thinking at the free kick.
Worthington is going to take it. A lot of movement in the box. Bright darting this way and that, trying to lose the defenders. Here comes the cross, held, and a whistle blows, presumably for some sort of pushing in there.
I thought you were saying held, giving the goalkeeper a compliment there. I was saying, what you on about? He punched it in. But I think this is... There's one or two things going on. I don't see an awful lot. The goalkeeper actually gives Watson a nudge. I'm not so sure Watson did an awful lot wrong there.
Free kick anyway. Swindon have had a habit of producing late goals this season. Our statisticians tell us that a quarter of their goals have come in the last 10 minutes.
Unfortunately for Swindon, most of those have only been to give them draws in.
That's Scott. Good idea. It's not one they need, it's two, quite honestly. Flicked on by Bright. Kilcline trying to get some length on his header. Certainly got some length on the volleyed clearance, but there was an offside flag up anyway. That goal by Sheffield Wednesday means that 22 league meetings between these two sides down the years. Still hasn't been a 0-0 draw. Taylor. Sheridan wide for Roland Nielsen. Well, Wednesday here searching out a second goal that surely would kill off Swindon not only tonight but maybe for good this season. Carlton Palmer is there beyond the far post. It was won by Taylor. Here is Carlton Palmer. Moncur challenging back. He really has had a good game, John Moncur, not for the first time this season. Worthington. Here's Watson. It came off Kilcline for the corner. Sheffield Wednesday, third 2 seasons ago, 7th last year, looking for the win that would put them into the top 6 here now. Right up there again, challenging, and Carlton Palmer too. I think it was Palmer in the end that got his head to it. Now Trevor Francis, Woolly Hat and all, will be very pleased if his side can hang on here to all 3 points. It would be the end of a very good holiday period for his club.
It's been some time since they've celebrated an away victory, is it not, in the league?
Yes, it goes back quite a while. I'll just check that for you. Nyholt. And away by Walker. I think the last one was at Tottenham back in February.
I'll take your one for it.
3-1 win. But they have had a little spell of away games where they haven't won. Yes, it was 3-1 at Spurs in February. Mark Bright receives some treatment. A reminder that on Sky 1, note Sky 1 on Saturday, the FA Cup semi-final, live and only on that channel between Chelsea and Luton Town. Will it be Glenn Hoddle or David Pleat who leads his side to the Cup final. That's live from Wembley, 4:30, Saturday, Sky 1. And next Monday, another cracker in the FA Carling Premiership. The chase for the title, Blackburn Rovers against Aston Villa. Rovers, who won 3-0 at Everton today to keep up the pressure on Manchester United, who also had a 3-2 win over Oldham, if you're late catching up with developments on the football scene today.
That Blackburn match is a fascinating one, Ian, because wasn't it Blackburn that just about put paid to Aston Villa's title hopes at Ewood Park last year?
3-0, I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah.
I just wonder if the roles will be reversed on Monday.
Well, I wonder if Villa might remember that as well. Villa's league form has been a bit patchy of late, but of course they do have a trophy in the cabinet and a place in Europe to boot.
Well, it's no wonder he's biting his nails.
Well, the anxiety shows. Swindon chasing this goal. Nijholt. This is Fjørtoft. And was he pushed from behind there? No penalty was given.
Well, Ryan Jones is having a little glare at him here. In he comes, Jones, and he just feels it. Fjørtoft collapses. And he's having a little word with the Norwegian. Not noted for trying to stay in his feet in the penalty area when there are bodies around.
Yes, that has been noted once or twice, I think, this season. Does pay the odd trip to the turf, doesn't he? This is Jones in towards Bright, who's held up the play and joined in Wednesday's attacks very well. He's had a good season, Mark Bright. Another 20-goal return for him as well. This is Bodin. Sanchez hits it down, but only to Carlton Palmer. Monka. Swindon have under 8 minutes to find salvation. Summerby. Jan Arge Fjørtoft. Quite a confrontation between him and Des Walker. Norway v England.
He's good at that, you know, and he's good at using his body and backing into defenders on the edge of the box. He did it very well earlier. He was looking for a penalty, turned Des Walker very well indeed and attempted to do the same there. But that time, Des was up to it.
Simon Coleman brought into the action, and Mark Bright, who'd just taken a bit of a knock, I noticed a few minutes ago, he's come off. 7 minutes left. Bodin's corner for Swindon. Pressman comes for it and wins it, but here's Horlock, who's got a very good left foot. Oh, and deflected over the bar by Scott. Close in.
Well, it's not an easy chance. It really isn't. Because it's hit very well. It bounces about a yard in front of Scott. So he's got to try and get over the top of it. He's got to keep it down. When it's your night, Ian, when you're top of the league, you hit your studs, those, and bounce into the corner somewhere. When you're desperate for a goal from somewhere, you hit them too cleanly, and over the top they go.
And he's had a bit of a goal drought, Keith Scott. He hasn't scored in his last 9 starts for Swindon Town after a very good start. And so Simon Coleman, who's come on for Mark Bright, and so that's a defender on for a striker. So Sheffield Wednesday, I don't know whether they're going to lock up the shop here now.
Well, they've just pushed back Williams back up front. John Sheridan's gone to the right side, and Coleman's in the centre of midfield alongside Carlton Palmer.
Bodin long towards Scott. That was a clever back header by Pearce. Watson chases this one. Should be all right for Paul Held. Fjørtoft, nice control. Horlock wide. Can he find the right kind of cross? No.
He's unlucky, you know. I think that sat up horribly for him, just as he made the decision to cross it.
Now John Gorman has saying take your time to the Swindon players. He's worked so hard to keep them buoyed up. He's been the eternal optimist right the way through, and usually when they've had a bad result, they've managed to bounce back and they've managed to keep fighting. But it has to be said, realistically, time is getting very, very tight, not only here but in the season generally. Fjørtoft is offside. Now the linesman there, Eddie Welsh, not winning many popularity contests with the fans. In fact, a bit of confetti and I think a toilet roll was thrown at him.
He's a little late, Ian. I think that's the thing. If you watched it, the header goes in now. It looks pretty much in line there, Fjørtoft. The flag went up a little bit late.
It was certainly very, very tight, wasn't it? It did look to be level at least. Corlock. Pierce, who's a good solid game back there. This is Worthington this time, and Watson is onside, and here's Carlton Palmer! And a let-off for Swindon.
Well, I think that's the thing that stops Carlton Palmer being a midfield player out of the top quality. I mean, of international pedigree. He gets in here time and time again does he get in situations like that, Ian, with his forward running. But too often, that's the final product. A missed opportunity. That really would have been the end for Swindon.
I thought you were going to say, do I not like that, Carlton, for a moment, Andy?
No.
Now it's Worthington. Deflection off Moncur. Shots so far, Swindon 14, Sheffield Wednesday 7, but it's Wednesday who've got the goal. Twice as many efforts on goal by the Premiership's basement club. Foul on Nijholt.
One thing I didn't mention in that move that led to Carlton Palmer's chance was the lovely header from Gordon Watson. So alive to Palmer's run. Took the pace off the ball wonderfully well.
Scott helps it on, Fjørtoft, and this time, yes! But the whistle's gone. It's not going to count.
It's a handball in. Fjørtoft flicked it on with his hand. And the referee, to be fair to him, spotted it right away. He doesn't agree, but I think we'll see from the replay that the hand goes up, it bounces down, they watch this closely. Up goes the hand, flicks it over Walker's head. And I tell you what, it was quick, but the linesman was alive to it. Des Walker's just going to head it there. There's the left hand, tipping it over him, just like in basketball. And I'm surprised he doesn't get booked for that.
It certainly was deliberate handball. It's Coleman, only into touch though.
So no hand of God for Swindon then, eh?
Well, pity Alan Gunn wasn't refereeing that World Cup match, wasn't it? Here's Moncur. Under 90 seconds for Swindon of normal time. They've certainly had their chances in this second half to have won this match. And this time it's offside. And there's a kind of hush around the county ground at the moment. I think the Swindon Town fans, and I think in their heart of hearts, even the club's most ardent followers would probably accept that unless something is forthcoming very, very quickly here. There's a sign saying Gorman out. Can't believe that, but it does look like the end of the Premiership road here.
Well, the official line, of course, will be, no, we don't give up, and quite rightly so. It'll have to be. We don't give up until it's mathematically impossible. But as we said before, they can only get 41 points unless they score 2 goals in 30 seconds or so. And 41 points, quite simply, I don't think, will be near enough.
Especially as the team in the first safety position already have 37. That's Oldham at the moment. Taylor. Nijholt up towards Fjørtoft. Nijholt works well. And offside this time against Keith Scott. And Swindon Town were founded by a gentleman known as the Reverend William Pitt, and they may need some divine intervention if they're going to stay up now. One or two fans trailing away. Not many, to be fair. The crowds have been good here this season too, averaging over 15,000.
I think they deserve a lot of credit, Swindon fans, for that. The team's been, as you said, bottom from day one. Haven't got off the bottom at any time in the year. But the crowds have kept coming in, and over 15,000. Good testimony of that.
They produced an awful lot of entertainment. But along with that, they've also just offered a wee bit too much for opposition strikers along the way. Not often, to be fair to them, that they've failed to score, though. Nielsen forward, and Taylor wants his goalkeeper to come and help him, I think, but in the end, the throw-in is conceded, and we are deep into injury time. Well, there's a kind of sadness in the air at the county ground at the moment. Sheridan measuring this one. Kilpine gets it away. Bart Williams is wide. Crowded out this time. Sanchez. Horlock's long ball. Last chance surely for Swindon, but Walker is in the way again, as he has been so often. Watson timing his run well. Taylor is across there. Well, they've had the opportunities to maybe have won this game, Swindon, Andy.
Certainly that was a great opportunity. About a minute before Sheffield Wednesday took the lead, Jan Arga Fjørtoft's header in, and how often that happens. A great chance to take the lead. You don't take it. The team go down the pitch and punish you immediately.
One of the harsh lessons of life in the top flight, that. This is Ryan Jones. He's very annoyed with himself. Tonight, when really nothing's gone right for Swindon in the opposition's penalty area, chances going begging, particularly in this second half. And of course, they lost their goalkeeper as well to use the substitute. Nijholt. Up comes Pressman. He's had a wonderful season, Kevin Pressman, established himself as the #1 ahead of Chris Woods.
Well, I would have imagined at the beginning of the season they'd spent most of it in the reserves, sitting on the bench. But he had his opportunity, he got it, and to be fair to Kevin, he's performed very well this year.
There goes the final whistle. We cannot say for certain that Swindon Town are relegated, but they really do need a miracle now. 5 wins would only give them 41 points in their remaining games. Gordon Watson, the substitute, with his 11th goal of the season, was the difference in the end. 3 wins on the bounce for Sheffield Wednesday. They move into the top 6. But realistically, Andy, that looks like it for Swindon.
Well, quite simply, and I said before the game, I felt the only thing that would give them the slightest chance would be 6 wins out of 6. I, like Bobby Gould, think that 44 minimum is going to be required, possibly even 45. The way that some of the teams at the bottom are starting to win. And so quite simply, if you look at it mathematically, they can only get 41 points. And that, to me, suggests that John Gorman can start planning for next season in the First Division.
So there it is, a sad story for Swindon, more joy for Sheffield Wednesday. It's Swindon 0, Sheffield Wednesday 1.
Thank you, Ian. And Andy Gray, of course, with Don Rogers and Bobby Gould with us looking back on that very shortly. And we'll also have goals from around the Premiership today. Some big games up and down the country. More football action very shortly.
As a Sky subscriber, you should by now have received your exclusive copy of Sky Plus magazine. Inside, you'll find everything you need to help you get the most from Sky. Find out what's new on Sky One and why America's chat show king, David Letterman, is looking so pleased with himself. Daniel Day-Lewis stars in Last of the Mohicans, just one of the great British...
Well, it's been